GG! The Mouthful Podcast is brought to you by GoodGame.rock, the most welcoming gaming community on Facebook. Visit us at www.goodgame.rocks.
Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and that, of course, is David, aka Dream Twister, and this is The Real, episode 269 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast.
Oh, now you gave our real identities. Now we're screwed. Now the world knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man, and
You're right.
Atlas is Fontaine, and the whole world is lost.
Wait, Atlas is Fontaine?
GG! No spoilers.
Thank you so much, sir. Yes, apparently Atlas is Fontaine. For those of you who have no idea what we're talking about, your gaming life sucks.
No, and now it's completely ruined.
Yeah, this is true. It's never gonna get better at this point.
No. This is the reveal of Fight Club level. No, the Sixth Sense. This is that level of reveal that has been spoiled to you.
That was spoiled for you, wasn't it?
That was spoiled for me, yes. But that was it was on my own. It was I walked into that myself because in retrospect I should have watched that movie a long time ago. So I don't blame the person. No, because they already spoiled it.
You already know.
So at this point, it's like,
dude. I mean, for the record, this is M. Night Shyamalan at his best. It's one of those things where you only know him at his worst. It's like, well, you can at least see why people appreciated him if you see his good ones. You know what I mean? But if you just completely skip him, then M. Night's going to just be this name that you're going to run away from. And,
well, after frigging Glass, I will.
Good Lord. That is such a ruined. It's just infuriating, especially when they did. First off, especially how awesome Unbreakable is.
Unbreakable, yeah.
And then Split coming out of nowhere, which was good, not as great as Unbreakable, coming out of nowhere, and then tying itself back. You're like,
yep,
dude, that reveal at the spoilers for anybody. That reveal though was jaw-dropping.
It set things up. It was great. It was like, oh my god. Then when they announced Glass, everybody was like freaking excited, and you get out of Glass and you're like, oh, this is how it felt when I watched The Phantom Menace.
Yeah, pretty much. That's such a letdown, dude. And now at this point, I hear you. I'm like, I know his good stuff, and I don't trust him anymore. At this point, it's a crapshoot with him. You know what I mean? It's like you don't know what you're gonna get.
He is the Platinum Games of movies. Yes,
nailed it. That is exactly what he is.
Thank you.
Well done, sir. Well done. You know what? You're on point today, sir. I'm gonna. I think I might sit back and let you host, bro.
No, now I'm gonna be conscious about it, and I'm gonna be like, No Man's Sky.
I hear that's a good game. Maybe I don't know.
Tomb Raider.
Just gonna start throwing names out there just for the hell of it. Oh my god. Well, guys.
Sorry.
Thanks so much for tuning in. If this is your first time listening, please first go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. It takes you right to our Facebook group. And of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we normally do is first we go into what we have been up to, move on into various news items, and then we finish with our hot topic of the week. And this week's hot topic. Our excitement for the rest of 2021. Yes. Now that we know what's coming out, we get to rank what we're looking forward to, if we're even looking forward to it. I mean, is it we're going to rank them a little bit different. We're going to do, if it's going to be like a day one, is it going to be wait and see? Is it going to be not touching in a million years? And obviously, not every game. We're going to stick to the main stuff that we're interested in, and there's not really that many. But we'll go into the rest of 2021 and maybe dip our feet into January of 2022 because there's a particular title there that I think I want to discuss. But anyway, yeah. So that's what's on the docket for the hot topic. But before we can do that, we have to start with what we have been up to, Mr. Santos Dream Twister.
Yes, sir.
Twister of Dreams. The mocker of the frou-frou. What have you been up to, sir?
Yes. Yeah, let's get this part out of the way because I really haven't been doing much, honestly. I've only exclusively been playing Final Fantasy 7 Art, and we have already discussed that on all the other episodes. I'm not even playing it by as much as I was the first week. Maybe putting like 2 hours and each day. But and it's the feeling of this game is it's amazing. At the same time, I already played this. I already know exactly what's gonna happen. The thing that keeps me going, however, is the fact that there are, because of the replaying, I am understanding and seeing a lot of things that I didn't observe the first time. Mm-hmm. Just like rewatching a movie. When you already have the idea, the plot, the planogram, if you will, of everything. How did the developer make or try to present the story that was going to present, or the director of a movie, or the writers put the movie together. And it's the second time, obviously, you're going to catch some details or some little hints are going to make you think into, oh my God, this is actually, this happened. And this means that later on, this is what's going to happen. Like you start making connections, mm-hmm. and your mind starts going into some wild speculations of what the ways that this series might end up going, because unless you haven't played Final Fantasy VII remake, and even though it's a remake of Final Fantasy VII, there are things that will be considered very spoilery. So if you want to skip this part, then by all means, but and go. Even though the game itself is meant to be actually a sequel of Final Fantasy VII and not necessarily like a remake, because it feels like it's tied up that way. Some actions of some characters, like in this case, Aerith in particular, are making me think like, oh my God. So we already know that in Final Fantasy VII, the old PlayStation, the original, she
97
dies. Yeah, she dies tragically in Final Fantasy 97. And on this one, some of her actions now have gotten me thinking like, oh my God, what if this is the same Aerith somehow? Because of course, this is not going to make any sense to someone that's going to be like, what? She died here. If you're telling there's a sequel, how can she be the same person? But it's you will have to have seen the entire story of remake to understand where I'm coming from. Like, things might not necessarily, it might look like it's trying to be a one-on-one remaking, but it's really not. And in the areas where it seems like it's going to break out a lot, there are actual forces like literally, like, you don't know. I mean, I'm gonna call them enemies because that, they attacked me at one point, but in other points they saved me. Let's say there are some forces that are trying to avoid you from changing that timeline, somehow, and of course you have the whole thing with Sephiroth, which the Sephiroth here acts very differently than the Sephiroth on the original Final Fantasy 7, almost as if he knew of the events that had transpired on that Final Fantasy 7, and he is here on this timeline or dimension or whatever you want to call it, trying to prevent or change things or redo them or remake them. I don't know. It is extraordinarily exciting for me. It is. I have, Final Fantasy VII it's always been. It's always been a Final Fantasy game that I hold near and dear, but I wouldn't necessarily consider it like, oh, it's my favorite of all the Final Fantasies, because that would be Final Fantasy 6, followed by 9 and then 7. But now I have gained so much respect for it just by seeing the way they're tying things. That is if that whole promise gets fulfilled. Because this is Square Enix. Let's face it. There's a chance that they could just drop the ball at the end, and give us a crappy story or something that is not particularly
or something more akin to Kingdom Hearts.
This is already approaching a little bit those levels of confusion. I mean, and obviously. Me trying to explain it's not helping, but this is already approaching those levels of like nonsense, and I'm a little concerned on that part. But because I did like what they did with this particular iteration of Final Fantasy VII, I have hopes that they will continue. They will keep it at least for that. I can't speak for Final Fantasy, for whatever they're doing with Final Fantasy 16. I can tell you that Final Fantasy 15 was boring. Sorry. 14, it's a great MMO, but it's a MMO, so I'm not playing that. 13 was not great. 12 was good, but very different.
I love 12. 12 is one of my favorites.
12 is good. 12 is good. I can't say 12 is good. Definitely a departure. 11 was another MMO that was great at its time, but like that,
still being played though.
It is still being played. That's true. I don't know why people are still paying, but yeah. And then Final Fantasy X was not great. It had a great soundtrack, but it was not great. In my opinion, it's not bad. It's not a bad game. It's just not one of my favorites. Anyway, honestly, for as games goes, that's the only thing that I've been playing. I dabbled a little bit on testing the Doom Eternal with the patch that now has like ray tracing and DLSS on PC, and it runs amazing and it looks great. But this is a game that already looked good. Having ray tracing on it, yes, it looks amazing, but you're not really going to notice, because if you are paying attention to those details, then you're not playing the game right. You're going to get killed, because everything is happening so hectically, so fast. You are constantly on the run, as it should be. And I didn't really have time to. Oh, and I kept dying a bunch of times also, because I was playing hard. So I was like, okay, no, I'm obviously I can't do this anymore, and I don't remember which how I got to the part where I'm at on the ancient, what's it called,
the DLC. Hold on.
The DLC, something of the age. Anyway,
Yeah, I'll look it up.
So I really, don't get me wrong, I really like the Eternal. I had no problem. Oh, the Ancient Gods.
The
That's
Ancient
what
Gods,
it is. Yeah, the Ancient Gods Part 1. I was playing Part 1. Part 2 is already released. It's exciting because it's more Doom, and I did like Doom. Yeah, but I am not in my game. And from the section where I was playing, like the part where I'm stuck, I'm facing two Marauders.
Ugh.
And no, they have actually made them a little bit easier now.
Oh, that's not good.
No. But I'm saying they were practically impossible before, and now they are just like fucking difficult. A little bit more manageable, exactly. No, especially because like it has when you're able to hit them, when you're able to actually hit them, like it knocks them down for a little bit, and it does kind of like the effect of Street Fighter when you get hit a lot of times when you get dizzy and it goes.
Okay.
Well, it doesn't last that long, obviously, but like it gives you enough time to get at least a couple of shotgun hits. Of the dual kind, of the dual shotgun kind.
Okay.
So but because I completely forgotten a lot of the gameplay on it, it's like I'm just getting destroyed there. It's like, I want to look at this ray tracing. Hold on, give me a second.
That's why it's one of those things where I almost agree with you when we look back at our conversation about fucking Halo Infinite, where it's like, yeah, well, this kind of game, I mean, it's cool that you have it, but the gameplay almost keeps you from ever really appreciating it. So it's one of those things like, well, how necessary was it? You know what I mean? And it's like, well, I guess it's cool that it's there, but at the same time, it's like, well, this game is, you're going to be completely not looking at it.
No,
if you are, you're not really going to progress. So,
I mean, let's call it what it is. This is it technology, and this is meant to like reinforce the capabilities of that engine, so they can do other stuff with it. I'm sure that this engine is not just going to be used. Like it'll be foolish for Microsoft just to keep it for freaking a Doom, when they can actually apply it to maybe Halo, which seems to need it. But maybe the next one. This one was kind of looking all right. I was okay with it. But yeah, man. I didn't watch any movies, but I am continuing watching Loki, and I am actually, you know what? I would say I am interested. I'm gonna continue watching. I believe this is episode 4, maybe. I could be wrong.
There
Maybe
were only 4 when I looked at it.
Okay, so. Okay. So 4 episodes. All right.
There's only 6. There's only scheduled to be 6. So.
Oh, there's only scheduled to be. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. All right. So this is gonna be short, also, like Winter Soldier and Falcon. Okay. That's fine. It seems like it's keeping me interested. I can't say much. I don't know how to talk about this without accidentally spoiling anything, so I'm super tiptoeing. I will say this: by this episode on Falcon and the Winter Soldier, like I already knew that I didn't want to continue watching. Like I already knew, like, let's just get this over with. And I thought the 5th episode was actually the 6th episode. And then when we finished watching the 5th episode and we realized that there was another one, like I was upset. I was like, motherfucker, I'm not gonna watch another one. Forget it. Let's just wait till tomorrow and we'll just get this over with. On this one, I'm actually looking forward next week, and then the week after to see how it wraps it up. So I can't. Obviously, it's not over, so I can't say this is great. Or or not. The other, what was the other one? WandaVision. I do remember the first few episodes being kind of weird, but that was a whole the mystery, right? That was a whole interesting thing. It's like, okay, this is too weird. Let's see where it heads. And even though they tackled this very differently in Loki, maybe when I say very different, I mean like in WandaVision, you could tell like, okay, well, obviously this show is not gonna be about them in black and white. You know, this is not I Love Lucy with freaking Wanda and Vision. This is gonna be something more, that it is. And with Loki, I'm not ready to say that that's really what it is, but it is keeping my interest, and I will actually. I've heard a lot of people were very skeptical, with the idea of this. I'll be honest with you, I could have been one of them also, because from the moment that they set up that Loki escaped, and it's because they're making a TV show about him, I'm like, oh, fucking really? Like,
well,
that's what they're doing.
I didn't even say that, but when you heard there was Loki thing, and you're like, because remember he died in Infinity War, so there was time between Infinity War and Endgame, and also time between because you didn't see him escape until Endgame,
right?
But you heard the announcement of a Loki show, and you're like, wait a minute, he died in Infinity War. How are we gonna do this? And then you see the Endgame, and go,
that's how
they never actually
had planned that.
Well, clearly, but as I'm saying, no one ever made the announcement that that they were doing. The only thing announced is, hey, we're going to be doing a show about Loki, and at that point, Loki was dead in the MCU. So you're like, oh god. And then of course they mentioned Black Widow, so we're like, what are we doing here? What's going on? So, yeah, that's strange.
I know. But what I'm saying is, because yes, I feel like the Loki character was one of those characters that, even though, I mean, he was a villain, no doubt about it. On frigging the Avengers, the first Avengers movie, he was very mean and fucking evil, and kind of a psychopath in a way. I mean, in the way
he was bad in Thor.
He was bad in Thor.
Yeah. Well, and when he was first introduced, he was bad. So it was like, okay.
I feel like that's what happens, right? You get those you get those characters that are like that, and then I don't know if it's like Hollywood. Well, it gotta be what it's gotta be the executives. They look at it as like, people really seem to like this character. There's some potential for exploitation here. What if we make him like have some redeeming qualities, so maybe he can turn good after having like eye gouge this guard in freaking the Avengers, and like try to enslave humanity and kill God knows how many people in New York. It's like, oh, okay, no, it's he's silly now. He's supposed to be. He's an endearing character now, because and that's why I didn't care for that announcement of like, oh, this is gonna be a series with this character. It's like, oh, okay. Obviously, a series with this character doesn't mean he's gonna be the villain. They're just gonna make him the good guy, and it's fine, whatever.
It's like, okay.
And let me tell you, I watched that first episode, and I was mortified. I was without saying much. Let's say that there were some disrespects, upon what I felt was what everything that they have set up to do in the whole Infinity Stone saga and beyond. It felt like Let's just leave it at that. Let's say that I was mortified enough, but not in a way of
from
this
what
show.
from what you're referring to, it's really the first episode, so we can really just call, hey, spoilers on the first episode of the show, and we're not going to go any further past that.
I guess,
you know what I mean?
So. Yeah, I guess we could, but I will let you handle that actually, because I understand that we made an arrangement, to finally get you to watch it. but first, before we even go into those details, sir, tell me a little bit about what you've been playing.
No. Let's keep it on track. We'll talk about some. We're already talking Loki, so might as well keep it. Why circle back later?
Okay, fine.
No, so yeah, so we came to an understanding, if you will, that I watched the episode. Although it's not like I didn't want to watch it. I'm in the middle of something, and I don't really like steering myself away.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, to be fair, it's one of those things where I'm like, not losing interest. I'm watching, for the record, I was watching Money Heist, which I hate that
Money Heist.
Yeah, they changed the name from Casa de Papel, but
that's right.
I still enjoy it for what it is, but it's just one of those weird show, because it's a show, it's a Spanish show, and I don't mean Spanish and then it's in Latino. I mean it's Spain. It's from, yeah. And so it's got some weird melodrama at a lot of weird places. For the record, Money Heist has to do with, you can't catch from the fucking name, a heist. You know what I mean? And during a heist, weird things come up, specifically about love, and sometimes they're just banging it out somewhere in the corner, and you're just like,
están follando.
Están follando, yeah. And I'm just like, guys, there's a fucking heist happening with a bunch of nothing but the nation's army outside, and you guys want to sit here and yell and cry because of how you feel about this other person. I'm like, dear Lord, get your shit together. You know what I mean? Wow. And so it's still cool because I like the characters, especially from the first one. From obviously the same characters carrying over from the seasons, but it's just cool, and that's why I like it. But it's just one of those things like, I'm getting a little tired of this ridiculousness. Somebody's pregnant. It's just like, guys, it's one of those things where it's like you're mixing. Yeah. It's a bunch of weird shit that happens. You know what I mean?
Shit.
And I mean, it all makes sense.
Born, and the heist hasn't happened yet.
The heists are elaborate. I'll give them this much. The heists and how they do things are elaborate. It's I
would imagine if they're still in it.
Yeah. It's commanded by this guy who calls himself the Professor. Nobody knows names. They all have code names, and the code names are generally like towns of different nations. The main girl, her name is Tokyo. The Professor is the only one who uses his name, but you have other people. Nairobi, you have, they're all named someplace, and they don't know each other's real name, and that's on purpose.
As it should be.
Yeah. And the Professor's the one who thinks up of the plan, and the plan is, he is always one step ahead, which is pretty awesome. But it's funny because you see a lot of tension in his face, and then he gets out and you go, but wait, if you had it, if you already had a plan around it, then what's with all the dramatic music? Just let it happen, So anyway, Money Heist is really cool. If you have not watched it, it is on Netflix. Check that shit out. But I was in the middle of watching that. We haven't finished it. I think we're like one episode left in season 3, and there's one more season. Okay. So we're working our way through that. So that's why I was like, I'll get to Loki. Damn it, I'll get to Loki. But no, someone had to reach through through the internet, grab my arm, twist it, and say, you need to watch it now.
Turn it, bop it.
Or exactly. Or you will lose your firstborn son or something. I don't know. So,
I'll tell you what it is. I was very, fucking internet is being very cavalier with spoilers, and they don't fucking care. They're just throwing everything on headlines with pictures and everything, and I'm like, oh my god! Like, and it's usually the same sources of news, right? Fucking Polygon and fucking Kotaku, which it's our fault, right? Why the hell are we, going into this website? But hello,
I stopped going to both of them.
There's a lot of
I don't go to them anymore,
that's good. But we need when we get to the part of the news, some of the news, that coming from them, it just so happens that they tend to report shit first,
which is fine. I still go to like Video Game Chronicle. I still use IGN.
That's true.
I go to these places, and there may not be the first ones, but they'll cite who they got it from. It's like I don't give a shit.
By the time we get to
we're
them,
not
it's
journalists.
like everybody
I don't need
already
to cite everybody. Yeah. So
yeah.
So that's but you're right, and it's because they know that's the whole deal. Polygon and Kotaku are fading away. You know what I mean? And they don't have the journalists. They don't have the viewership. And how do you get people back? You put stuff out there so that they can
You start exposing shit up like that, and I'm thinking like dude, okay, if you're gonna do it, you better pull the trigger now. Also, I wanted to get your thoughts on that first episode.
Yeah, and that's
the first episode. It's not like it's like
the
the best episode or anything like that. It's just like, hey, it sets the tone of what this thing is gonna be about. So
yeah, and so that's really all I watched. So just the pilot, essentially the pilot episode, and so
are we going to spoilers now? Or?
Yeah, we're gonna go into full spoilers for the first episode of Loki. Nothing, and I'm not gonna go. It's gonna be full spoilers, but I won't purposely do it. It's just like,
exactly. We're not gonna.
So anyway,
but there will be spoilers. You've been warned.
If you've seen, the MCU movies, you understand that Loki obviously got away at some point, in the Endgame when they were traveling through time, and so this literally picks up right from there, because this is the Loki that got away, and of course he ends up running into the TVA. And which I can't remember what that stands for, but basically it's a group who control the sacred timeline, essentially.
Variant Alliance? No, I don't know.
Sounds about right. Yeah, and so obviously he jumped.
Authority? Fuck! Now I need to know. Sorry.
So he jumped the timeline, and obviously that causes a rift, and they come get him. They immediately answer a lot of my questions, because immediately I started asking, okay, so why didn't they stop any of these fools who were jumping through time in the movie Endgame? Because I'm like, oh, but that was meant to happen. I'm like, oh, how convenient. Okay, so that was meant to happen.
By the way, I completely nailed it. It is the Time Variance Authority.
Okay.
Yes.
So
why were they? Why you're referring to? The by fools you're referring to the Avengers that suddenly just went time traveling because Stark discovered time travel. By the way, actually, the father of time travel for civilizations, I guess.
Well, for humans, you don't know if other people have.
It's the same time, right? It's the same. It's the one time, right?
No. What I'm saying is you don't know that if any other species and other planets have unlocked time travel, and it's just Stark. He figured that out for humans. You know what I mean?
But if the aliens would have messed up the time travel, how would it discover?
They probably would have been, messed up with the TVA. TVA would have taken their asses in.
Oh, okay, there you go. All right.
But overall, that's
it was
basically
meant for humans to be the ones. Is what you're saying?
Evidently, because we didn't see the TVA stop any of the events of Endgame or even mention. As a matter of fact, they were showing some of it off.
Yes.
So that's the thing. He gets taken in. He gets essentially processed like you would in any police station
facility.
You know what I mean? And which is pretty humorous, for the record. There's a good amount of humor here that kind of works because it's funny. He still has that. They're literally playing off of that whole moment where he gets slammed like a rag doll in the 2012 Avengers. Where I'm a god, you cannot do, and it's still the same thing happening here. You know what I mean? So it's like a continuing of the same joke, to an extent. But So and then of course he gets shown his future and what he should have done, and I'm not sure why they're trying to. I guess that's the only part where I was a little bit taken aback. I was like, why are we looking to see who Loki is. Is he trying to figure him out so that he can use him? It doesn't, at least not in the first episode, it's not too evident as to why we spent so much time just like probing him, you know what I mean, as far as his questions. But yeah, there is a stumbling moment where he gets the Tesseract because it gets taken away from him when he travels there, stumbles upon what is apparently Infinity Stones. So it's immediately made obvious that within I guess outside of the sacred timeline, none of those powers that are obviously available in the sacred timeline are they don't do anything. They don't exist.
Yeah,
it looks like the entire society
Infinity
is just
Stones that are meant to be like the whole thing that God created, at the point of the creation of the universe and yada yada yada, and it has the power to like make or break or do whatever you fucking wish or want. Controls time even because it has its own time stone and power and all that. Like all of that power is completely, literally meaningless and pointless.
No, I don't say meaningless. They're just useless outside of that. Yeah.
Outside of it, yeah. No, I'm referring outside. Yeah. Outside of, I mean, they literally they throw the word out there to emphasize how meaningless and pointless they are. They're saying, oh yeah, we use them as paperweights,
Well, they use them as paperweights because they don't know. He doesn't. So you understand how you guys some of the subtext here, where he mentions he doesn't know what the fish is. You know what I'm saying? So this person has no idea what any of those things are. Right. You know what I mean? Or what they do in the main storyline. And obviously, what you see there are not. They're basically the confiscated ones. And they're confiscated because
which is all of them and repetitions of them.
Correct. Yeah, it's someone at some point took a stone when they shouldn't have. That's going against the timeline, and they say, nope, we got to go back in.
So
and
there's like 4 power stones, like
it's like a medley of stones in there. Yeah, right. So, but in essence, obviously, it points out that I don't look at it the way he did when he's like, so this is the real power. It's like, well, no, you still need to exist within the sacred timeline. You know what I'm saying? And within the sacred timeline, guess what? Those stones do things.
Yeah, of course. But, yeah. But inside of it, it's like it's the way I see it. It's like having like granting from this powerful sword on an MMO where it has all this. Where you're like the ultimate player, but once you get out to reality, you have is a piece of programming.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much what it is. Almost exactly. If you think about it, because when you look at their world, they don't have magic. They don't have any of that. It's all technology.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, well, this is kind of cool. But anyway, it's a long way of saying that overall, I like what I saw. There's an obvious setup. I couldn't help but immediately think of 48 Hours because I was like, oh, so this is the angle they're going at, which is hey, I'm a cop, you're a crook, I need to catch a crook, so why don't you join me? Why don't you help me and I can help you in whatever, you know what I mean? It's something that's done a bunch of times in a lot of different films. And if anybody doesn't know what I'm talking about, 40 Hours is a movie with Eddie Murphy, which is actually a pretty cool movie. If you haven't seen it, what the fuck is wrong with you? Go watch it. Anyway, but he is literally an inmate that a cop, Nick Nolte, comes and he gets him out because he's connected to something. And 48 Hours is literally the lead. That's why it's called. It's the lead that he has for 48 hours to get him out to help him. And so anyway, that's exactly what I thought. The first thing that came to mind. So this is 48 Hours, but a cosmic version of 40 Hours. And on the top of the cosmic, another reason why it didn't just immediately take me away is it's always been those cosmic elements of comics that I always steered away from. My favorite comic books storylines have always been the ones that are sort grounded of embedded in grounded in some sort of thing that I myself can say, ooh, that can possibly happen. I'll allow the occasional, superhero, whatever, which is what I loved about the MCU, for the record, because the MCU, as much as you have a lot of these powerful guys, no one's Superman. You know what I'm saying? There is no one here. Even Vision got his ass handed to him several times, and he was pretty powerful. You know what I mean? that's what I always found awesome about the MCU. While in DC side, you have this problem with Superman because you just don't know what to do with him because you know what I mean. So,
Yeah.
but that's the whole thing is whenever it got a little too cosmic for me, it
Mhm.
never held my attention. And you have, what is it called? The War of. Oh, there's so many storylines that the comics have gone through with cosmic stuff. You have the Eternals
Right.
that's going to be coming out soon, which I'm
Yeah.
interested in, but at the same time, I'm like, we're going cosmic now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I don't know what to
Super
think.
like literally like
Yeah.
where were these people during the events?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, something obviously had to bring them here. So some
Yes.
tremor in the force sent them here. You know, it's like I don't know what it is. And so yeah, so because of that, I was like, okay, I see where they're going here. It just it really expands the world in
Mhm.
some way, say it a good way, but overall, it's just like, okay, you really need to ground it. And then honestly, in all fairness, by making it the cop needs the criminal to help find another criminal storyline, well, that grounds it. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
okay, so it's not, yeah, they exist, but the TVA is really just a backdrop. You know, and it's just like a side thing. The I hope I haven't seen anything massive, but I hope that it's the characterization comes out later.
Mhm.
Tom Hiddleston is obviously great as Loki. He's always been great as Loki, which is why he
Right.
keeps coming back.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He's always been great as Loki. So, and he's still great here. It
Yes.
was cool to see Owen Wilson. I don't know if he's a continuing character. You don't have to say if he is or not. I
Who's
hope he
Owen
is, because
Wilson? Is that
Owen Wilson
the
is Mobius, the
he
guy who
is
interviews him in the beginning.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes. Oh, I love that dude.
Yeah,
He is great.
yeah. I've always liked Owen Wilson as well, and so seeing him there, seeing them play off each other, I was like, this is pretty cool. So characterization is the big thing when it comes to the MCU.
Yeah.
It's not about the huge moments; it's about the small ones. And if they can nail that, then this is gonna be something special.
Yes.
The first episode, on the other hand, just left me with like, okay, now I won't say disappointed, but it was just like, okay, so this is the angle we're going with. Okay, can it turn me around? Sure. It did not impress my wife
Mhm.
much. But we're gonna try to continue to watch, especially there's only 6 episodes anyway. So
Yeah.
that's I love that TV has gotten smart about their episode limits. Because the reality is, if you only need 6 episodes to say the story, why the hell are you stretching this out to 13? You know what I mean? This is what the problem with The Walking Dead. You know what I mean? It's like you
Yes.
have literally 3 episodes of nothing happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing
Yeah.
of importance. Then you get to that next episode and like, ooh, big moment, talk it out. Hey man, can you imagine? Oh man, that was crazy. Blah, blah, blah. And then another 3 episodes just drag. Like what
Right.
the fuck? TV has gotten smarter with that. And I think honestly, because a lot of people let go of cable and they started doing piecemeal stuff. And when you start doing piecemeal stuff, you gotta be tight about it because people are not gonna hang on. You know what I mean? So
Well,
I
not only
like
that, but also they can't have just a bunch of shows running at the same time. Spending all that money on a bunch of 12
Yeah.
season episodes.
Yeah.
Episodes and
particularly this one. And I think Disney is smart about it in the sense that they're like, okay, if we're going to be big budget, we cannot do 13 episodes. We have
Right.
to, because the reality is, on those longer seasons, if there's one thing you can always spot is, ooh, this is the episode where they're like, we don't have the budget. We need to, a perfect episode that comes to mind of one of my favorite shows of all time, and that is Breaking Bad, and that is
Yeah.
the episode Fly.
the episode
Yep.
of The Fly.
It's a good episode because the writing is good, but at the end of the day, it's like, there was no budget, which is why the entire
No.
episode happens in that one look. It's like you get
Yeah.
it. You see where the money is, and to sort of, I don't want to say hide that, but to mask the fact that, hey, there's only going to be a little bit about limited money on this. Let's shorten the episodes. That way we can use all the money as much as possible within those episodes.
Yeah.
Falcon and Winter Soldier also suffers from that, where even though it's only 6 episodes, but you can tell they blew their load on the first and last episode because
Yeah.
in between is like, okay, what happened to all the cool whatever, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
because they didn't have the money for it. So that was
That
that's
first episode was kind of amazing when you saw
yeah.
what they were going to, and
Yeah, I was like,
the
"Oh
whole
man, this
helicopter
is what it's
chase and
gonna
stuff like
be
that.
like," and it's like never like that again.
Yeah.
What I'm saying? The last episode has, it's still not as good as the first one, and it has some moments or whatever, but you can still see the budget out on the screen. Like, again,
Yes,
that first
I
episode
like that.
really cost money. You know,
You can see the budget on the screen. Yeah,
you know,
that's true.
so it's true. Yeah, you can see it, and there's no hiding it. You know what I mean? And so by properly doing this, I think it could be okay, especially when you're doing in the end, let's be real, MCU is sci-fi. That's just what it comes
Yeah.
down to. When you do any type of sci-fi, you need money, and that's just what it comes down to. So anyway, my point is to say I will continue it. First episode was really a setup episode, and it was okay. You know what I mean? It wasn't, and nothing blew me away. I already kind of knew the angle they were coming from. I did like the humor. I did like what the TVA looked like. I was like, oh, so this looks like one of those, old school office buildings. You know what I mean? That just looks really
with
plain.
A whole thing with the cartoon and the presentation, it was like almost ridiculously grounded, because I'm thinking like, well, here is what appears, and this is obviously just basing it on episode 1. So obviously nothing that I say is going to give anything away. But just watching this episode and seeing like, okay, so evidently, I mean, if they fucking have the Infinity Stones, like if it was that were nothing, then this is how all the most powerful beings of the ones that control time or whatever. All right, well, perfect. Fuck this guy, Doctor Strange, whatever. He never had the real power of time, I guess. Anyway, the thing is that you have all that, but the way their offices look, like everything uses very
mundane
20th century technology.
Very just simple. They're moving around carts.
They're moving carts. They use paper. They literally have blocks of paper.
There's like pencils, there's paper. He has to sign on a pen. You're like,
they have a digital system, like a proper. It's all of that. It was like almost designed to press my buttons, and I should have been like super upset at it, but I was not. Somehow I was like,
because you were like Loki at that point. That was your. I'm sure you heard the term before, the audience surrogate, right? So even though technically Loki is, he's a god of Asgard, from Asgard, whatever, we don't really have a connection to him. But in this world, he's the only connection we have to anything. You know what I mean? So now we're looking at it through his eyes. So the way it's all on his shoulders, and that's what credit to Tom Hiddleston. It was like he made that sequence interesting to continue watching, because you were just as confused as he was.
Yes.
And he still played it off well. When he was told, where's your ticket? He's like, oh shit. And he saw this guy just get phased out of nowhere. He's like, shit, I got a ticket. Hold on. I got it.
Oh yeah. A numbering ticket system, mind you. Like you will have at a fucking dairy.
Yeah, at a DMV or some shit. Yeah.
And then he's like, what is this, a dairy? And I'm like, you wouldn't have dairies in Asgard. And you just came out of Asgard. Like all of that was, I'm telling you, bro, it was just made to press my buttons. But I was like, at that point, I was like, okay, this is so many levels outside of absurd that I'm more with it. It's like, I want to see. This is so meta ridiculous that you got me. You got me. Now I need to see it. And I can't say it's good. I can't say it's bad. Right now, all I can say is like, yeah, serve me the next one. I'll eat it. I need to know.
I'll bite. Yeah, I'll bite on the next episode. Yeah. And I'm gonna say I'm the same way for the most part. But again, I've only seen the first one, so I don't really have only that to go by, and I haven't been spoiled by anything. So I can see certain things where they're talking about it. But it's kept well, I guess, in the circles that
Mhm.
I've been looking. But anyway, so yeah, that's Loki, and I guess we'll probably have more soon about it. Yeah.
Yay! You watch Loki. Loki. I
Yeah,
wanted to know
so
your
you're gonna be
opinion of
watching,
it.
of course, the
Oh,
Wanting Mayor.
oh
Uh,
no! That was not. That was not the. That was not the accord.
one of
You
the
know, we said it was gonna
top
be Pulp
movies,
Fiction,
one of the
and
top Cannes Film Festival winners from 2020. And yeah, yeah. No,
no.
no, no. Yeah, it's gonna be No Country for Old Men. Yeah. So I'm
Oh,
curious what
that's
you think
right.
about it. Yeah.
That's right. It's not even gonna be Pulp Fiction. So there you go, Chaos. The only chance you had at me watching Pulp Fiction, and it got used
So
on
the
No
reality
Good
is
for Old
this: there is like there's a time limit, and I've said this before. How many times have I said, "Hey, I've watched Office Space, and
Man.
it was okay," and everybody freaking like, you say, you say you haven't seen
It's
Office
one of my
Space. They
it's
freaking
one of my favorite movies.
yeah, yeah,
It's still it's like Ghostbusters. It's yes, it's a movie that you're watching now. And if you
you're
don't have
not
the
gonna, it's not
context,
gonna,
you're like,
yeah,
it's not gonna
yep.
hold up. It's not gonna
It's
hold
not
up.
gonna,
But
yeah, you're not gonna have
yeah,
the
I
same
get you.
connection.
Right.
And so that's the same thing I have with Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction from like the early 90s. I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're not, it's like, yeah, as much as I want you to watch it, first off, the expectation behind it that everybody keeps putting behind it, I'm sure at this point is going to be like,
Oh
oh
no!
my
At this
God, you're
point,
going to
it's
watch
like
yeah,
this is a godlike movie. At this
correct,
point,
correct. And the
yeah.
reality is that it's not, especially now after all the other freaking Quentin Tarantino films. It was like, yeah, it's great, but if you've not watched at that point, it's like it's going to be disappointing. And honestly, I'm like, no, I'd rather you watch something that I think is probably timeless. You know what I mean? And I think No Country for Old Men is timeless and has probably one of the most uh devious villains ever on film. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah, we mentioned this before, where I was like, he's probably like your real life Joker. You know what I mean? Without the laughter and without calling himself the Joker. You know what I mean? So, but just being as, I don't know. Anyway, I'll let you watch it. But the other thing I watched was I only saw one other thing, and that was Disney Pixar's Luca, which obviously was on
Oh,
Disney Plus, and I gotta say
wife pick,
this.
wife pick. Was he
No,
your
no,
wife that picked it, or did you
no, no,
want her
no.
to watch?
This no. She started watching it, and I was like, wait, don't, because I also wanted to see that.
Ah, okay.
And so she turned it off and watched something else, and then we just eventually caught up with this one. But it is actually pretty good. I So it's weird because Pixar is one of those, movie studios. Obviously, they do, your CGI type animated films,
Mhm.
and they are really, really good at it. But lately, I feel like they've kind of fallen off a little bit. I didn't really care for Soul. Not that it was a bad film. It wasn't. When you start thinking of like Toy Story 3, and you start thinking of The Incredibles, these are top notch films. Monsters Inc. Everything. These are some top notch films, and when they start dropping movies like Onward and fucking what's the one I just mentioned, Soul, and
The
I'm just
good,
like,
the good dinosaur. Have
the
you?
good. I have not seen that one.
Ex-
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah. So
exactly.
when you start seeing
Nobody
that, you
has.
go, "What the heck is going on with Pixar?" You know what I mean? And so when I start seeing a new film that they do, I was like, "Yeah, I want to check it out." And this one actually is, like I said, it's pretty good. It's different in the sense that I didn't even know what the hell it's about. You know what I mean? And what it is
Mhm,
about is this is gonna sound really out there, but basically a young sea monster,
mhm.
discovers that he can change into a human as he gets out of the water. and he befriends another sea monster who does the same thing, and this all happens in the Italian Riviera. So there's the little town that they go to, and it's very Italy for the record. I was like, oh my god, this is right out of Italy. This looks just like you know. Um, and in there lies the weird thing, where it's like the backgrounds and the world itself, spare no expense as to make it look as vibrant and realistic as possible. Then you go to the characters and you look at them and you go, oh my god, this is like the Wallace and Gromit freaking animated characters. You're like, why do they look so odd? Why do their mouths don't even look like, you know what I'm saying? They look too, it's almost like they took a cartoon drawing of today's, the way they do cartoon drawing, and then made it into a 3D whatever, which looks amazing, because they obviously they're great at it, but the character just doesn't match the world. So that kind of threw me off in a loop, and I was like, I don't know what to think of this.
But that was that was a design choice.
Yeah, it was a design choice. Yeah,
it
was
okay.
a design choice.
All right.
If you just look at the the poster of it, and you can kind of look at the characters and go, oh, this doesn't look like your normal Pixar human character.
What's the name of the movie again?
Luca, Luca. And so when you see that, I was like, oh, okay. It's, it's a little off-putting at first, but eventually, I just look past it and just kind of go with the story. And the story is also something very different that I haven't seen from Pixar, and that is a very simple story. This isn't a
lot of drama or anything like that.
Yeah. This isn't about, hey, we need to save Italy from this meteor that's coming. No. There's nothing like that. This is a very story.
It's nothing incredible.
Yeah. It's not incredible. It's not, this massive whatever. It's honestly, it's a story about friendship. And once you start seeing that and you kind of see where they go, it is really, really endearing, and very charming. I didn't know I didn't know I was getting into, because again, I just didn't know anything about it, and I am glad that I watched it. I was like, this is actually a lot of fun. My only complaint again would be the way the character designs were. I was like, I don't know about this. And the other thing is that the plot wraps up fairly quickly. It's like there's this plot that's going on in the background, and you're concerned. You don't. Well, obviously, the plot is like being sea monsters. They're not of the city that they're going to, and they're just they have this simple plan, but they just want to go out and see the world. But they can't let people know they're the sea monsters, and if they get wet, their skin goes back to the sea monster skin. So they have to keep drying themselves to hide that. And so they're trying to hide, because also the town realizes that there's some sort of creature out in the lagoon, and they're hunting the creature. So obviously they don't want to be found out, because they assume they're gonna get killed.
Yeah.
And so that's the concern throughout the film, and I feel like it gets wrapped up so quickly. It's just like, oh, so I guess that was okay, right? It's like one thing, I guess it wasn't. Yeah. So it just happens so fast that it literally was like, wow, that just. What were we so concerned about? I guess I don't know. So that was a little disappointing, but it does have that that Pixar moment where it's just, it hits a certain feeling, and it hits a certain feeling, and you just go, oh man, I can definitely feel that. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where when you think of it, I won't spoil anything, but you just think of friends you had when you were young that you're not friends with anymore, and you didn't stop being friends with it, but you just realize at some point life takes you in a different direction, and you realize you're seeing a lot of that in these characters. You go, well, this isn't going to last forever. You know what I mean? It's just, the world is the way the world is, and it's just heartbreaking. You know what I mean? It's just like, oh, yeah. You know what I mean? It's so that's being done really, really well in the story. And that kind of hit home a little bit. But so, yeah, I would give this one easily a 3.5. And I was expecting to be lower than that for the when it first started. I was like, okay, I see where we're going here.
It feels skippable, but turned out it isn't.
Yeah, exactly. You give it its fair shake, and it turned out okay. But anyway, so that's Disney Pixar Luca, which is not one of the premium ones for Disney. It's just
I was going to ask you just that if you think that you'll put it on the pantheon of but obviously it never looked like it was. I would say probably. What would you say was the last Pixar movie that was like it was really Coco? Would you say Coco maybe?
No, actually, I would
No?
say Inside Out. Inside Out was the last
Inside
one
Out.
that
Oh, okay, yeah,
was really, really,
yeah.
yeah. It
Like you don't
was first off
expect it to be.
hilarious. Yeah, it was
Uh,
hilarious. It was touching. And it was one of funny because the main character, or not the main character, even in Inside Out is basically you're seeing the uh manifestations of this young girl's emotions, joy,
mhm.
disgust, anger, all the sadness, and they're all in her head, you know what I mean? And
Yeah, yeah,
so they're in control of her, and sometimes one will take control, the other take control, depending on the situation. It's an interesting thing. um
yeah. That sounds
and
really good. I need to watch that.
oh yeah, it's absolutely, oh yeah, dude, that's one of their best, absolutely.
Yeah,
But yeah, I think that's their last good one. Um,
I feel like that and
no,
Up
no,
are
I
the
take that
two
back.
movies that I need to that I haven't that the two Pixar ones that are missing from my from having watching. I need to.
Oh, okay. Oh, Up? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, those are the last. That's their last great one. Is what I should say, because I don't think Coco was bad. It just was. It was good.
Yeah.
It didn't knock anything out of the
It
park.
wasn't special in the
Correct. Yeah, it
sense
wasn't
of
Toy Story 3. It
comparing.
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't any of
Right.
these other ones. Yeah. And Onward, I thought was okay. It wasn't. As a matter of fact, honestly, I didn't even know it was Pixar. Like, I had to go look it up later and going, that wasn't Pixar. That had to be just regular Disney animated, whatever. And no, sure enough, it says
DreamWorks.
it. Yeah. And I was like, oh shit, it is actually. Um,
Sausage Party also. That's
yeah,
a
that's
really
all right.
touching one.
No, I'm sure it is a touching one. I'm sure.
Don't- Do
You
not
know,
watch Sausage
do
Party,
not
please.
watch with your
Do not
no one.
encourage that.
Don't watch it with your mom. Don't watch it with your kid. Do not
Just don't
watch it
watch
with your
it. Just
wife.
don't put your eyes through
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Avoid at all costs.
Yes.
Um,
You have been mega warned.
exactly. At this point, any screw up is on you, my friend.
Yes.
But anyway, so that's really all I've been watching. And the only thing I've been playing, believe it or not, is I
Oh.
finally dove into the deep end and started playing Dark Souls 3, which has
Talk to
like
me.
completely taken over my. The only thing I wanted to remember, I remember thing last week that I mentioned. I was like, I gave Mass Effect the old college try. You know what I mean? I was like, you know what?
Yep.
I cannot do it anymore. And so, and it's just because I had already played it. I already played Mass Effect 2, completion twice. And I was
Yeah, I
like,
mean,
I
nothing
can't do it.
against it. It's just
No,
you've
not at
done
all.
it.
Not at all. Yeah. It just felt
It's
like
been
I was
done.
going through the motions.
Yeah.
And that's not a short game to go. Like, I've done that with Journey, but Journey is like an hour and a half long. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I can sit for an hour and a half and enjoy that game again. And by the time I'm like, "Ooh, I already did this." Oh shit, it's over. You know what I mean? It's one of those
Mhm.
things. So, but this is not. No, this is, and I'm one of those who I need to examine every planet and try to get as much resource. I'm doing all that shit. I'm like, why am I doing
Like the
this? Oh
first
my
time.
god. Yeah.
Even though you clearly know that you don't need to anymore.
I don't. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I mean, I just want to upgrade everything. It's just.
Oh yeah.
It's checking off a box, essentially. You know what I
Yes.
mean? But anyway, so yeah, I jumped into Dark Souls 3, and I did unfortunately leapfrog over Dark Souls 2, but it is what it is. But dude, let me tell you, bro, this
Talk to me.
freaking game is gorgeous. It is like miles ahead of what the first Dark Souls was, and I played the remastered
Mhm.
of Dark Souls, and no, this is just absolutely a beautiful game. It is
I mean, they have
running at
done 3 of
60
these
frames.
already by that time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Dark Souls 1, 2, and Bloodborne,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like, yeah, and so, man, it's just so good, and it is so good to get back into really, complete control of your character, really, challenging a thing, and running into a room knowing that God knows what's on the other side of this fucking door, but I'm gonna
Mhm.
fucking take it on any way I can. You know what I mean? And I'm fucking loving it, dude. I'm fucking loving it.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I don't know what it is that From Software figured out, but their formula works. It just they have this, and others are obviously, doing the same thing. We have Mortal Shell, and you got your, Salt and Sanctuaries and all that. But
Mm.
it's a formula that absolutely works. You complete control of how you build your character, and you have all the tools at all time to finish that game. You know what I mean? And just knowing that I can just get I'm getting good, dude. I can see it. It's to the point where I'm already 4 Lord souls, I guess you would say, at this, or Lord bosses, whatever, boss souls in, and it, I'm at level 43. And I'm only at 4, and I know that they're way more than that. You know what I mean? So it's like, if we were to count bosses, I'm probably a quarter of the game, maybe a third. You know what I mean? And I'm a level 43. I'm just, and it's one of those things that I don't feel like I'm grinding. I'm really just kind of jumping back in, getting into the area, because I'll die in one area, and I'll get frustrated when, like, man, fuck this shit. But then I am running back up to the thing. I mean, I'm gonna go get my souls before anything else. You know what I mean? And so it's just, I don't know, bro. It's just so freaking good, and I don't even want to play anything else. Like, I'm happy that there's nothing coming out, because I would literally be skipping it. I wouldn't even bother. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm in something right now, and
Yeah.
I don't foresee myself really jumping off of this. I can't wait to get back into it. And he thought it was the other day. I was just like, honey, what are we doing? Are we doing anything tonight? You know what I mean? It was just me trying to set up. Well, if we're not doing anything, then let me go back over here.
Might as well.
Yeah, but oh man, it's just so good. It really, really is good. I am enjoying. So when it comes to it, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm not doing like some crazy walkthrough, but
Uh-huh.
items, I don't test items like randomly. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna just, okay, well, let me see what this is. Well, let me try it, see what it does. No, I need to know what it does. And as I look in, if some of the stuff you can figure out, because it'll say, oh, use this for this. But other stuff, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. So I'm like looking that shit up. Like, what does this do? So what
I don't
can
have
I do
time
with this?
to
Yeah, yeah.
guess and to
Yeah, yeah. I don't have
mess
exactly
up my
as much as
game and
yeah,
yeah.
the game is very, very obtuse. But it's still fun. It's still fun
Right.
figuring those stuff out, and yeah, man, it's just, I don't want to spend too much time on it, because it's not, a recent game or anything like that needs that much time. And I'm sure everybody listening has heard of fucking Dark Souls 3. So it's just, I cannot explain how amazing the feeling is to just own something, own
Mm,
this boss, or own this area, and it's just you see yourself get better at it. You know what I mean? And you're
right.
like, man. And that's the other thing. It's like, this is skill. It's not luck. It's not me trying, standing on a corner over here and just, although you can,
Cheesing it.
sure, cheesing, yeah, although you can, but it's not that. It's like, I'm dodging when I need to dodge, block when I need to block, parry when I have to parry, strike once, maybe twice, and then back up. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, and it's just so much fucking fun, dude. But anyway, moving on. I don't want to stick on that much longer. But that's all
No,
of the
that's
night.
great.
So
Honestly, I haven't heard
yeah.
a lot. I mean, I know obviously Dark Souls 3, but I haven't heard it from someone that they
I
experienced
mean, as far
playing
as
it.
the story goes, I mean, here's what I know of the story. So I know that this takes place
There's a story.
hundreds of years after the first one. I think, I think part two takes place hundreds of years after the first one, and this was hundreds of years after that. You know what I mean? In the first one, you were trying to,
And yet still everything looks exactly the same.
well, maybe, yeah. But in the first one, you were trying to rekindle the fire, because the age of the fire was coming to the end, and so you're, as the chosen undead, you go to the first place where the fire was, and you basically sacrifice yourself for it, and that keeps the age of fire going, which is what these people want. And obviously, you have another group who wants the age of dark to come in, and that can only happen if you let the fire extinguish itself. That's from part one,
Mhm.
which you can actually let the there's an option for you to just walk away and let the Age of Dark happen in the first one. But
It has
clearly,
an
part
ending.
two and part three says that canonically you actually just relit the fire and kept things going. So,
Okay.
um, and in here in part three, it's similar. The difference is now the world has gotten to the point where they know what they need to do to keep the fire going, and they have specific lords of cinder that basically come back and they re offer themselves to the fire so that it can keep going.
Mhm.
However, in this particular story, the four lords of cinder that were brought to do this said, "Fuck that shit. We're not doing this shit." you know what I mean? So now you're essentially on the hunt to try to get them so you
I'm
can.
sorry. You say sacrifice? I didn't. I didn't sign up to get killed here. So I'm sorry. No, I understand. It's gonna save humanity or whatever you guys call yourselves. But fuck that shit. I'll be dead. So I don't care
Well,
about y'all.
I think they've presented themselves before because they come back from the dead to present themselves. If I recall, if I understood that correctly,
Mhm.
and this last time they said no, we're done doing that, and time has significantly passed, and now we're into the sort of the age of ash where the light really is going out in the world, and now you have the unkindled, which is your character, the enkindled, which are ashes really forming together to form and these are ashes of people who attempted to light the fire but never made it, died beforehand. Those people
Mhm.
they call them rekindled, they're coming back, and now they're
They're
trying to.
called the Enkindlers.
Yeah. So that's the story behind it. Does that make any sense?
No,
That's up to you.
it
Yeah,
never does.
it's
That's weird.
it's very obtuse as far
Come
as what's going on,
on, come
but
on.
it is interesting. I love meeting the
Yeah.
new characters. Characters are still the same way. Like I had somebody who joined me back at the Firelink Shrine and was helping me level, dude. I was this guy is level me up without souls. I'm like, something's up.
What
You
do
know
you
what I
mean?
mean?
Wait, what do you mean? Like multiplayer?
No, 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 no. It was so you meet like NPCs. They're NPCs
Ah,
in the
okay.
world, and you can talk to them, and if you want, you can get them to help you through your quests.
Uh,
One of them can teach you pyromancy. Another one can go steal items for you. This particular one was a pilgrim or something that he should have died when all the pilgrims died, but he didn't. He was still left there, and he said, "Well, since I'm still here, I will help you in your journey." And so he joins me back at the shrine, and I will come talk to him, and it says this thing where it's like upgrade whatever, and I'm like, okay, so I select it, and it
mm,
takes me to the screen where I normally up my level and select
mm.
a whatever, but it's not using souls, and I'm like, what is he?
Oh,
How is he doing this? You
nice.
know what I mean? It's like he only do it once, and then
uh,
I will go fight a player a little. I'll come back. Sometimes he'll have it, sometimes he won't. And I guess it's at that point was every time I beat a major boss, I'd come back and he'd be like, "Hey, yeah, you've been whatever," and but no souls again, and
nice.
don't know why, but of course. This is Dark Souls. There has to be a reason, and something.
Yeah.
Someone has to pay for something at
You
some point.
probably unlock the bad ending now.
Maybe, for all I
And
know, I have no clue.
never get to finish it proper now.
But here it is. I go back to the Firelink Shrine and he's dead. He's lying on the floor dead. And then there's a
Oh.
woman there who also came from whatever, saying that he was not of what, and I'm like, yeah, he was. He was leveling me up.
It was helping me.
Yeah, what are you doing?
It was helping me.
Yeah.
What did you
Yeah. And of course, just like in any Dark Souls or something else in any Dark Souls, you can kill NPCs. And if you do, they're
Right.
gone forever. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And that could be anybody. You can try to kill the fucking the firekeeper. You know what I mean? And and obviously all these things will have their own repercussions, but it's just so funny to me that it all their lives are in your hands at any point. You know what I mean? And in this case, he died because he was, I guess, doing something he shouldn't have done. You know what I mean? And he paid for his life,
Helping
and it's
you.
now. I think he easily gave me like 5-6 levels up. for free, and I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And so maybe that, I'm at level 43.
That was not a woman. That was not a woman. That was a developer that just invaded your world. Sorry,
you've had too much of this. We
need to squash a bug. Yeah. There was an exploit here that we noticed you were taking advantage, and
yeah, in essence, that makes sense.
Now the bosses are 3 times harder. Good luck, have fun.
God. That's the other thing. See, that's the thing I don't know, because again, it's whenever you get
nothing's
those weird
given
messages,
for free.
True, yeah, nothing's given for free. No one helps out for free. Everybody has their something that they want.
Yeah.
The first one had this dude who tricks you and kicks you down into a pit, and now you're like, fuck, you got to get out of there, and it's a bitch. And then somebody did the same thing to me here. Some guy was dressed like one of the Onion Knights, and he's always kind of been kind of like a cool character. And so I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Well, there's a treasure over there, and I'm not able to go get it because of my size. And I go to get it, and he fucking like drops the gate and drops me into a pit where a giant would have been had I not already killed him. You know what I mean? So I had already killed the giant, and of course I get down there, and he's like, wait a minute, where the hell's the giant? You know what I mean? So I'm chasing him down because I'm like, fuck this guy. I'm gonna see his ass again and run him through. But anyway, that's the weird and humorous and yet awesome part of the way From Software really makes these games. You know what I mean? Is you have these weird little interactions that have their repercussions. Whether it's either if you help them, depending on what they are, you don't know who's good, you don't know who's bad. You just know, for the most part, you shouldn't trust anyone. You know what I mean? And that almost always works in your favor. And in this case, I trusted someone, and I guess it was working in my favor, but it didn't work in his favor. You know what I mean? So I'm like, well, at least, did it? He's still there. He's just dead on the floor in the shrine. So I'm like, poor guy.
Damn, son.
Anyway, so that's all I've been playing.
No good deed goes unpunished.
So, well, we're back, guys, and it is time for our trailer of the week. Trailer of the week. Trailer of the week, guys, is not a goddamn thing because let's be real.
Okay.
I don't, and I'm gonna be honest. I don't drop the GD very often, but this week, you know what I mean?
There was absolutely nothing that caused the attention.
No. As a matter of fact, it almost makes you go, I don't want to watch TV this week because it's that fucking depressing.
Not needed.
There's some trailers, for the record. There are trailers, but I'm not even going to mention the names because they're not even worth talking about. It is
just go fetch them yourself.
Criminal studio malpractice. Yes, at this point, it is a felony. At this point,
wow.
Aggravated studio assault is what this is. Because, dear Lord, some of these trailers, I'm just going to give you a name. You know why I am going to give you a name? Out of Death. That's the name of the movie. Out of Death.
Hell is out of
So either
death.
You're coming out of death or you've ran out of death. I don't know what it can possibly mean. And I don't
way, it's
care.
Nonsensical.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. I just don't care. So yeah, at that point, we're just moving fucking on. We're gonna move on to our the Mouthfuls Games Radar.
Game Radars. All right, lay it on me.
Which we have nothing coming out this week, guys. Nothing at all.
That's 0 for 2 that we're going on that one.
I tell you, I don't know. I'm scared, guys. I'm a little scared. They're really the only. I mean, you have a couple of remasters.
We just named the the fucking topic of the week. We're excited, coming, and apparently there's not much. So I'm starting to wonder
I mean,
if we made the right choice here.
You mentioned earlier Doom Eternal. It's got its upgrades. Greedfall, if you're interested in that, also has a upgrade, and yeah, that's about it, guys. and that's not even on the radar. That's out there.
Games are getting patched.
Yeah. Welcome to
Cyberpunk 2077. It's now
still waiting for its patch. Yep, still waiting for its patch. Yeah. Patch is uploading now. To be completed sometime in 2022.
It's back on the Sony store, right? On the PSN, right? So that must mean that they feel like it is reviewable now. Now people can go in and try it and then give it their well-deserved score.
I mean, sure, but at the same time, they also warn people, this may not play well on last gen console.
That's Sony. That's Sony. No, wait a minute, guys. Let's keep it real here. Don't play this on PlayStation Vanilla, please. Don't.
It has to be. I don't know what was going on there. But yeah, it's or on Xbox One.
Or an Xbox One. Yeah, exactly.
Because, because you are looking at probably a very bad play experience.
You're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess that leaves us into the useless news that you can use.
Do we even have any?
Well, there we have. I have, at least, quite a few, my friend. But we're going to start, of course.
Okay, all right. Share.
Oh, okay, yeah. We are going to start, of course, with the free games from PlayStation Plus free games, and of course the Xbox games with gold. I guess we'll start with PlayStation since I have that one up already. Sony has revealed the PlayStation Plus games for July 2021, and they include the PS5 version of A Plague Tale: Innocence, PS4's Call of Duty Black Ops 4, and WWE 2K Battlegrounds. If I remember correctly, 2K Battlegrounds was quite the shit show, but hey, it's free. So
that list got downhill real fast.
It sure did.
From a high, mind you, because A Plague Tale: Innocence, what's it called?
Yeah, A Plague Tale: Innocence. Yeah,
it is a Mad Dog choice,
a seal of approval right there for sure. Yes. For sure. Yeah. And this is a PS5 version which has targeted 60 FPS, highly improved visuals, faster loading. Unfortunately for PlayStation 4 owners, only the PlayStation 5 version is part of the this month's selections. Even still, this will help PlayStation 5 owners get ready for the game's sequel, A Plague Tale: Requiem. So either way, if you've missed out on this gem, first off, I need you to repent. 70 Hail Marys and whatever else a priest would normally say. Holy water on the face. I don't know. One of those things you need to do.
You'd be like, holy shit, what the hell is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Fix that shit now.
You need to seriously.
You need to play this game.
Fix this nonsense. Yes. Play this game. It is. I'm gonna fucking tag it. You know what I mean? It's like I already have the PlayStation 4 version, but I'm just fucking tagging it anyway, so I can get the PlayStation 5 version. And I am probably going to try to go through it again because I actually did enjoy its story. And one of the things I did mention was, obviously it was at 30 and it wasn't locked. It was targeting for a lot, but it had its moments where, and to be fair, it's a smaller developer, and frankly, I was just shocked at how awesome the game looked from a small developer, an indie developer, if I remember correctly. So I was just shocked they were able to get that type of game going. So the fact is that they're able to now get us 60 frames a second. That's great, guys. Just make it happen. Make it happen. Yeah. Moving on. Xbox Games with Gold for July 2021 have also been announced. So Microsoft has also announced the next suite of games joining Xbox Game with Gold July 2021. We'll see Xbox Live Gold players receiving Planet Alpha, Rock of Ages 3, Make and Break, Midway Arcade Origins, and Conquer Live and Reloaded. That last one is actually pretty good. So yeah, that's actually quite the amount of games there.
They have a list.
Yeah,
they have a list. Yeah.
I think I played Planet Alpha. Let me just take a look at it. I feel like I played that game.
And I want to play Conquer.
Let's see. Yeah, Planet Alpha. I played Planet Alpha, so I can definitely support that one. That one is a very similar to Inside and yeah, it's a side scrolling type of thing like that where it's a puzzler. You don't really have a way of killing it. You're really just kind of figuring stuff out. But you're in this different planet. It's a very alien Pandora like planet. You know what I mean? So it's actually pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I enjoyed it. Solid 3 out of 5, easily.
Okay.
And so you get it for free. Rock of Ages, I've never played any of them, but you get part 3, Make and Break, which is and then Midway Arcade Origins. That's kind of cool. Apparently, you're going to have a bunch of arcades out there. Let me see what you get. Midway
Mortal Kombat. No.
Origins compilation. What do you get? You get
from Midway.
Oh shit! A shitload of games. You get. You get Arch Rivals, Champion Sprint, Defender 1 and 2, Gauntlet 1 and 2, Joust 1 and 2, Marvel Madness, Pit Fighter. Oh dear lord! Rampage, Rampart, Robotron 2084. Root Beer Tapper. Oh, that's a great one. That's a great
Root Beer Tapper, yes.
Satan's Hollow. Don't know that one. Sinistar, Smash TV. That's cool. Spy Hunter 1 and 2. Super Off-Road, Super Sprint. Tubin. Total Carnage. Tournament. Cyberball 2072. Yes. Vindicators Part 2. Wizard of War. But War is spelled W-O-R. And then Xenophobe and Zybots. So a lot of
that is a collection.
That is a collection. Respect. Yeah. Sometimes
classics. They're obviously
absolutely.
Getting for free. That's nice. That's nice. Not too shabby. Xbox on that one. And on the Sony side, I'm glad that we're getting a Plague Tale Innocent because I haven't played that game and I was considering getting it on a sale. But now I don't have to. I get the PlayStation 5 version. So, woo!
Exactly.
Good job. I'm not sure. Call of Duty Black Ops is like, who the fuck's playing? I'm sure there are probably people playing, but I feel like you guys got fucking Warzone now. Who is really so into Black Ops 4 or whatever? Anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
I tried that game. It wasn't that. I was like, it reminded me of why I don't play Call of Duty.
Yeah, for sure.
That's it. You got your piece.
Those are the free games. Oh. What's the next piece?
All right. So yes, turns out I had a little bit of piece of news here and there. Xbox and Kojima-san, reportedly in talks for a publishing deal. Talks between Xbox and Hideo Kojima are reportedly underway with the aim to secure a publishing agreement. VentureBeat, which reported on the potential plans for the deal between the two back in April, says discussion has now progressed to the stage that a letter of intent has been signed while legal team hash out the finer details. This leaves development work to continue, and Xbox Phil Spencer to continue displaying a Kojima Productions figurine on his shelf, because of course he'll do that. In the meantime, that said, the project itself still sounds fairly nebulous, with VentureBeat noting that it involves Kojima exploring possibilities provided by Microsoft Cloud Technology. As for a letter of intent, well, it's far from a signed contract to produce a game for Xbox when all is said and done. And then there's a quote here that says, at its most basic level, a letter of intent is just that, a letter where two or more parties indicate their intent to enter into a more formal agreement. Richard Hoeg, lawyer and host of the Virtual Legality podcast called Eurogamer.
Yeah.
Quote continues. The letter will generally contain a statement that the two sides want to work together, a description of what that working together might entail in terms of deliverables to be provided, schedule of work, compensation, etc., and then certain restrictions on the parties. Of note, it's only the last category that is typically binding on the parties, covering things like confidentiality restrictions on how and when a party might shop the project to others, and potential penalties for walking away. The remainder of an LOI, letter of interest, is best read as a roadmap for lawyers to draft the real or definitive agreement, end quote. Kojima confirmed that he had a new project in the works last October when fresh out of hiring was advertised for his Tokyo-based studio. Last night, VentureBeat reported that talks between Kojima and Xbox have been ongoing for months, and that last week, hiring of Portal developer Kim Swift will oversee new Xbox Cloud game partnership was going to work on Kojima's project. So and it then goes to say that there's still ties between PlayStation and Kojima. That they not necessarily have been severed or anything like that. Last month, Kojima revealed that Death Stranding PS5 Director's Cut was coming out. So nothing too deep to read on yet, other than hey, they're hashing out plans to work together, and apparently Kojima wants to do something that involves Xbox cloud technology. I don't think he means in the sense of streaming, but knowing Kojima, I'll be excited to know what the hell this actually entails.
Yeah, I mean, Kojima. Credit to Kojima. He's always searching for new ways to deliver some sort of narrative.
Yeah,
and obviously, he's not tied to anyone. His company isn't tied to anyone. And it only makes sense. It's like if you're have an inkling to do a project, then you need a particular type of technology that can help do it. Then you align yourself with those who have it. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I don't think I think there's a lot of there's a lot of bullshit coming from Sony fanboys going, oh no, they're gonna whatever. When I was like, first of all, stop. You know what I mean? I first of all, that's not what that letter of intent means. That's not what any of this means. Kojima Productions, it remains so far on its own. I don't know if Kojima would want to do that after being under Konami. But you never know. Even if he does, it is what it is. But for right now, it's just a project they're working on together. And they're just hashing out details. And I think, honestly, it's a good thing. Again, Microsoft needs that type of
profile,
game in their library, and who better to deliver it than Kojima-san. So
fucking Kojima, yeah. At that point,
yeah.
He made me like Death Stranding.
Me too, and I was just like,
no
why?
Reason to like that game.
I was like 20 hours in. It's like, why am I still playing this? I don't understand why. And it wasn't because I was not like, it's not like ME2 where I was like, I'm just going through the motions. It's like, no, I was actually enjoying it. I'm like, why? Why am I enjoying this? I don't understand why I'm enjoying this. He has, he I don't know, man. The man just has a thing, bro. You know what I mean? He has a way of fucking making shit work. I don't know. All right, guys, moving on to my next piece here is really Sony themselves are making some interesting moves with a bunch of acquisitions.
Starting, is that right?
That is right. Not shocking, but still, I would definitely
I think
say
you predicted it. I want to say
proper moves here. Proper moves. So first off, Sony has acquired the Finnish developer Housemarque after years of collaboration. I think easily about 15 years. Yeah.
Surprise!
The two company between the two companies. Housemarque most recently released the PS5 exclusive Returnal. The news was announced on the PlayStation blog with PlayStation Studio boss Herman Helse saying, quote, Housemarque's recent release of Returnal proves the studio is one with incredible vision, capable of creating memorable new games that resonate with our community. This edition enhances the creative force of PlayStation Studios, and I cannot wait to see what the future holds for Housemarque. The studio has been purchased for an undisclosed fee. However, there was some information out there advising that the acquisition of the studio has actually been going on now, or the talks have been going on now for over a year. So it's not new. So again, fanboys, chill out. This is not some crazed move because Microsoft bought Bethesda. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit, we need to buy something. It's like, no, that's not how that shit works. You know what I'm saying? You got to hash stuff out, and they usually take time. So I, for one, I'm thrilled. This is now one of the staples of Sony. But at the same time, I mean, also not shocked, right? I mean, they almost exclusively made games for them anyway. The only ones I know that they didn't were Badlands, I think it was called, or
the one that
it was like two colors that you know, like it was, I think it was Badlands. I think it was the call of it. Anyway, that was yeah. It was Badlands. Let me see. House
wasn't that a Ubisoft?
It was. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a published game by Ubisoft. Yep.
Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. I don't think it was called Badlands, but I know which one you're talking about.
Housemarque, Badlands. I don't think
Housemarque,
which is not coming up.
Bad mother, shut your mouth. No, I don't think it was called Badlands.
Let me see. Housemarque, Ubisoft. Ubisoft. This is crazy. I should have probably had this up already. Ubisoft.
We are determined on finding the name of that.
Outland. That's the one.
Outland. Yeah, there you go. I knew that land part was right.
Yeah. But I don't know where I got Badlands.
But probably.
But it was good. It was a good. I remember playing that.
It was great.
I was like, this is very good.
They did. I didn't know that was them though. I didn't realize. I thought you were talking about the other one that that they have an Easter egg on Returnal also.
You're talking about oh my god. I really
the Fogey podcast. That's what we're gonna start.
I'm telling you, dude. Housemarque PlayStation
Next
4
Machina, I believe is what it was called.
Oh yes, I have played that, but that was no, that was not a PlayStation only game.
No, that was not. That's what I'm saying.
That was another one they did. Matterfall was one that was PlayStation. What was the other ones? They've done a few games. A lot of them have been exclusive to PlayStation. And the very last one is. I don't know as far as sales how well it did, but clearly they did well enough for them to say, "Hey, we're acquiring the studio."
Yeah. I mean, what do you think of the first hit on PlayStation 4? Wasn't that Resogun? That would have been
PlayStation 4. Yeah. Resogun. That was definitely theirs.
So
Super Stardust was theirs. Dead Nation, Alienation. Remember Alienation? We played
Alienation,
that one.
Yeah. So they already had that. I feel like they had that Sony DNA ingrained on them to where an acquisition would have not been surprising. And I think you mentioned it actually in one of the podcasts before that.
I may have. That would be because it's. I mean, it's a logical one, right? It's like, they're already there, and it's one of those things like, do they need to buy them? No, they don't. But if you want to keep getting stuff from them and not worry about them doing other projects elsewhere, then add them to the family.
That's how you love them.
Yeah. Yeah. So it makes perfect sense.
The price is right. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah. They didn't disclose a price, but I do know. I think Insomniac was like 255 million. So it was like really not low, but it really wasn't that much. And I feel like a steal. But
then again, it benefits both of them. Benefits both of them because Insomniac. I mean, Insomniac has. Well, wait, no. Sorry. Actually, no. I take it back. Yes, because you give Insomniac like like very any technology that comes out from Sony now, they're in the plans, are in the work, in Sony now has direct access to. They no longer have to be like, well, you're contracted, you're a second party. No, so they can actually tailor their technology to, to the better to the hardware. That's how I see those
acquisitions. Yeah, because exactly how Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog and all these other ones suddenly started really, really like knocking just homers left and right, because you're like, well, that's because they only work on this technology. They don't need to think of anything else.
Yeah.
And so it just makes sense. And with Housemarque was in danger at the point. I don't know if anybody remembers, but they were on the verge of making some sort of battle royale game, which they wisely said scrapped. You know what I mean? They said, no, we're not doing it. Storm Divers, for the record. And
now it makes me wonder, like, maybe that could have been some of the things that were in the talks with Sony. It's like Sony stepped in and be like, look, we're interested in buying you, and we want to make you this offer and give you support and whatever, and we're going to offer you this much, but yeah, you need to drop out that battle royale. That's not happening. Come on, guys. Let's be real.
I mean, to be fair, I know that
I wouldn't be surprised.
Sony does need some sort of online presence with a game like that.
Battle royale.
Now, they don't need battle royale, not battle royale, but they need something. You know what I mean? Storm Diver wasn't going to be the what?
Fortnite is the number one. Sony makes a fuck ton of money out of Fortnite, even though Fortnite is Epic's, because of their,
because they own a portion of the thing.
Yeah.
And they also own a portion of Epic. No, for sure. But I mean, the majority, the lion's share does go to Epic. You know what I mean? And let's be real. Nintendo doesn't have anything like that. Although they have a lot of weird, like, they have Splatoon. They have, they have their own online presence, even though it's probably very different. And you have Mario Kart and all these games that you play online. And you have Xbox, who does it with a bunch of stuff. And oh, by the way, so is Halo Infinite. That's going to have a free multiplayer that's completely online. And let me tell you, that's going to be printing money for Microsoft. Not that they need it, but hey, they're going to have a money printing machine out of that fucking shit. So it's like, it's just one of those. I'm not sure. I'm not saying that Sony is looking for that, but it's just one of those things like, well, if you look at the stable of games, that's the kind of the hole that's missing, right? This thing they just don't have in their library. Like you look at
Sony.
you look at Microsoft.
That's what makes the difference, Sony.
You look at Microsoft and you go, well, what's missing from Microsoft library? Well, they're missing that really good narrative third person action, whatever, which is why they try to lock down one of the Tomb Raiders at one point, because they don't have that in their library. It's just, you kind of want to have a little bit of everything. And it's just, when you look at that, it's like, oh, that's missing. But yes, a very smart move for Housemarque to back away from that. Well done, guys. Well done.
Yeah.
Another acquisition that occurred with Sony.
Well, hold on. This one allegedly is still. Have they already officialized that? Because that's
this is official. Sony Interactive Entertainment has announced the acquisition of Dutch studio Nixxes Software.
Yeah.
The conditions of the acquisition have not been disclosed, of course. The developer will join PlayStation Studio Technology Creative and Services Group, which focuses on technology and development capabilities to support Sony Games development studios. It's the second developer to join this week. Obviously, we just mentioned Returnal. Herman Holtz, head of PlayStation Studios. I highly respect Nixxes, and I'm excited for this very experienced team to become part of the world-class development community at SIE. They have a passion for improving games and for delivering the best possible experience for gamers. Nixxes will be a strong asset for everyone across PlayStation Studios, helping our teams focus on their more important goal, which is to create unique PlayStation content at the best quality. I'm going to just say right here, this is a really, really smart move. It's not, it ain't pretty, right? It's not, it's not the prettiest of fucking acquisitions, but with their...
It is the most strategic, I'll tell you.
It is very strategic, yeah, because with their clear move, a desire to move into moving some of their back catalog into the PC market, You know what I'm saying? It's like, so who do you get to do this, right? The smartest thing is to get a company that only does that. That's just what
Mhm.
they do. You know what I mean? They don't do anything else. And the owner apparently has gone on record saying, we're not going to be making games. This is before they even got acquired. We're not looking to make games. We're just looking to do these, they're a port studio. That's what they do.
They're exactly. They're
You know,
porters.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
not.
yeah, exactly. That's
They're not
all
a
they do.
developer of IPs. There's no Nix's developed
Correct.
game. This is basically well, you know how you got what I now like to differentiate as old Sony and new and Neo Sony. The old Sony was very precious with their game catalog, right? It was like this stuff is exclusive to Sony, it's only available to Sony. You're not gonna play. No, there's not gonna be a PC version. Shut the fuck up. It's not gonna appear on any play sales. Da da da. This is it. I feel like the what's his name, Ryan, Jim Ryan, Sony is like, no. If there's money to be had, we're gonna jump on it.
Yeah.
Including making some decisions that, for better or for worse, it might look at first like, well, that's not necessarily the direction that I want to see, Sony games go. I'm talking about in the sense of like remakes and stuff like that. But other directions that are smart, where it's like, hey, there is this market. It turns out that it has a big install base, and we can tap on that since Microsoft is already doing the same fucking thing.
Yeah. It's another revenue stream.
And the benefit that unlike Microsoft, because I don't think Sony. I'm not gonna say I don't think. I know for a fact that Sony's not gonna give the fucking games away like Microsoft, in the sense of, well, if you buy the Xbox version and you get the PC version or whatever I forgot what the name it is. I love and if I own an Xbox, I'll be like personally owning a PC also. I mean,
the delivery,
delivery
system, or smart delivery.
Smart delivery. Where, hey, you buy this game, whether it's PC, or Xbox, you can play it whichever way you want. That's awesome. Yeah, no, Sony's not doing that. Sony's gonna resell you the game, and you're gonna rebuy the game because you're gonna if this past couple of releases have shown is that even the owners of PlayStation have been okay with double dipping if they are PC gamers, and those that don't own a PlayStation for whatever reason and they own a PC, well, now that's a new market that you get to. Yeah, that's a new opportunity there. So of course it's going to be an awesome revenue stream. So
absolutely, they actually shared results from Horizon Zero Dawn's thing, and they made back 250% of their investment to put it on PC. So that is clearly a smart move for them. Bringing in Nixxes frees them up for so many things. One, these guys are knowledgeable, so you're not gonna you're less likely to have.
Don't get better ports than Nixxes ports, bro.
That's what I'm saying. You're less likely to have the shit show that Horizon Zero Dawn had immediately when it was launched, because it just wasn't well optimized, for a PC. Because the reality is Sony's not good at that. And I think that this is why I say this is not only strategic, but an extremely humbling choice. If you really think about it, they go like, we don't know how to do this, but we still want in on it. So let's get somebody who does know how to do it. And because we don't, that's admitting you don't know how to do it. Instead, you have other companies like WB who still don't know how to do it, and they just keep trying anyway and fuck it up. You know what I mean? So it's like, at least these guys are admitting, we don't know how to do it. Let's get someone who does. Oh, and by the way, now Guerrilla Games doesn't have to worry about having to mess with the PC port, because we have a team that can handle it. They can focus on something else at the new project. So less resources are being used, and the creative team can create, and the porting team can port. You know what I mean? It's just absolute genius business sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that's what you want. So yeah, I think this is, you have posted this in the room. I was like, yeah, this is huge. This makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you're freeing up the creative team to do what they need to do, and you have a master team now who can figure out the PC board.
Yeah, this works better in both ways, because just like you said, it frees the developer team to actually work on their game, or the next project, and you get to tap on the PC market with a well recognized studio that has been well renowned for their excellent PC ports. So that means that they're no longer going to be treated. The PC ports are not going to be treated like
secondhand shit.
Secondhand,
they're gonna do it justice. Yeah,
they're gonna do it proper justice. How awesome would that be? Like, hey, how awesome would that be to have a God of War, or
it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
It's not. I would be the first to say, I don't think it's gonna happen. Like when the new God of War comes out, it's going to come out to PC.
Not day and day.
No, I don't think it's going to do that. But once that well starts drying up on console market, you release it shortly thereafter. I mean, that only makes sense. And honestly, I would argue that a lot of the fervor about getting a PlayStation 5 is because a little bit of these PC ports are like, oh man, shit, I could have played this, whatever. You know what I mean? Let me get a PlayStation 5. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? That's how you get the interest. Sure, they can wait for the eventual port, or they can get it immediately. You know what I mean? It's like that's how you get people into your ecosystem. Yeah, and it makes sense. I think it's perfect.
I think I'm because the thing with acquiring the Resogun developer, like that was already in the Housemarque. That was already like we knew that was going to happen. It had to, bro. It just had to. This one though, it came out of left field, and it's a perfect piece of the puzzle. It's like, okay, yes,
it's not as sexy as Housemarque. Yeah, it's not sexy at getting a creative team.
I will argue though that it's going to be very powerful though.
I agree. That's what I'm saying. It's one of those you won't even see you won't see because it's not. It's like, I hate to.
Well, if you don't care for if they don't, so Sony fans that are just strictly Sony fans that don't care about having their games ported to anything else, they're not gonna care.
For sure. What I'm trying to say is, what I'm trying to say is that the benefits you won't even see, because you know what I'm saying. It's a benefit to the company, and if you are a supporter of the company, then you want them to do well, right? I mean, that's what you want them to do.
Fuck that. I don't. I'm not a supporter of company.
Okay, well, regardless of the case may be, regardless of that, we are stakeholders in the company because we're holding on to we're buying consumers. But
I'm not gonna call myself.
However, what I'm trying to say is that
I'm a consumer,
and as a consumer, you are.
I could care less where my next game comes out. If it's fun, I will play it. I don't care if it has the Sony emblem or the no.
True, Uchu, you don't care. But the reality is that at some point you need to justify the purchase, and if you have no reason to justify the purchase, then you just made a purchase for no reason. You know what I mean?
Which happens.
It is what you want to avoid. Ouya as well. My Switch, also says hi. But
Ouya, exactly.
Yeah. But ouch. No, what I was trying to say is, it's like
it's a low blow, sir.
I mean,
well played.
I'm just saying it's the most obvious one.
It's
one of those things where even I was like,
yeah.
Dude, what are you doing?
That just proves that just further proves my point that I don't care about the.
You really don't care. Yeah.
I really don't.
Not even a little.
Give me an Ouya if it plays well. Oh, it didn't. Well, fuck.
Oh well.
And it worked both ways. Remember, I used to own an Xbox. I owned an Xbox One. Remember?
Yeah.
And I just ended up trading that shit because I was like, I'm not taking advantage of this at all.
Yeah.
I don't have the games that I want to play here, and the ones that I do are coming on PC. So why am I even holding on to this box?
To this box, yeah, exactly. I mean, and they're coming to PC, and for you who has a beefy PC can handle it, you're getting a better version there anyway. So why would you go back? That's like the Switch version of stuff. Like, who would get the Switch version of Doom if you can get the PlayStation 5 version? Of it? It doesn't make sense. So
I ended up getting a PlayStation Pro instead. I traded my Xbox and got a Pro, and you know what? I was happy as I could.
Happy with the purchase.
Yeah. Very justified.
The last one here is still a rumor, even though it's pretty fucking on point.
Wait, there's more? Wait, there's more.
There is. This is a possible, but then again, it's so obvious. A tweet from PlayStation Japan Twitter account has potentially revealed that the company has also acquired Blue Point Games, the American studio behind Demon Souls and Shadow of the Colossus remakes. It is now deleted, said tweet, was spotted by Reset Era user Modus, as well as Nibble on Twitter. Both posted independent images of the tweet, which shows Japanese text accompanied by artwork for Blue Point Games and the English text, "Welcome to the family." The tweet was posted by PlayStation Japan at approximately the same time PlayStation announced the Housemarque acquisition. The artwork used for both tweets is near identical, except from two key differences. One, obviously, the Blue Point's logo instead of Housemarque, and the deleted image also has Demon Souls key art in the montage in the background. So this alone, I'm away from the article. This alone proves this is happening. It's just not finalized just yet. Because it's one thing to get the logo mixed up on one thing, but you had key art in the background for Demons. I was like, okay, so you went through the whole trouble of doing this. And, you either are a complete fuck up, you know what I mean, or it's happening and you release the wrong one. That's really what it comes down to. So
I think it could be more a case of, this deal's already done, but no, we're not legally allowed to disclose it just yet, for whatever reason. But it's pretty much,
which is another one that I think we at some point were like, I think that would be another smart acquisition, right? Because they're already working with Sony almost exclusively, so it's like,
and they have demonstrated that they have the chops also.
Okay, exactly. Demon Souls says hello, and obviously the Shadow Colossus remake, which is gorgeous for the record, really gorgeous game. These guys,
almost like they're working. It's almost like Jim Ryan is looking for ways to put into action exactly his plan. It's gonna be like, hey, we're gonna be exploring other revenues in PC, and we're gonna be working on some remakes also. And Blue Point, welcome
by
to
the way,
family.
We got Blue Point, who are obviously excellent at remaking. It's not even remastering; they are remaking
proper remake,
proper remakes. Which is something that we all say, man, if they just did a remake of that, that'll be so awesome. Now think of all the Sony first party games that they can go, we're going to remake this. And guess what? We have a remake studio who can do it, So it's like, yes. I mean, I don't know what they're going to do. They just released Demon Souls, so who knows what the next one is. But I'm pretty excited for this. Again, this is not official. It has not been.
Ooh, I know that will perk your ears.
I like that. I like that because that's a really good game. And again, why pull Insomniac away from what they're doing? Get a studio who this is all they do. You know what I mean? So smart moves. It's again, it's not pretty, right? It's not sexy. You know what I mean? It's not blow you away E3, but
you know what?
They were actually smart moves.
It's not. It's not like. And I realize this is gonna sound very sexist, and I apologize, but at the same time, I don't care. It's gonna be. This is not the bikini blonde babe, girlfriend that everybody sees you salivating over it, but meantime she is expensive as hell, and there's no, there's a little bit of shallowness. No, this is the librarian looking type. She has she has a thing, but you can't see the beauty until later on in the movie when she goes through this transformation and she becomes the belle of the ball. And
Yeah,
I don't know where I'm going with
She's
that.
a
But
diamond in the
what I
rough.
mean.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. yeah,
Yeah.
there you go. Back me up, bro. You know what I mean?
I mean, I got to, because otherwise you're just gonna sink. So
I'm just gonna go into like very horrible. Yes, yeah. Things.
So anyway, that's the end of the acquisitions portion of this particular segment. But yeah,
Or
a lot of
is
movement.
it-
The
Oh,
I mean,
no,
well,
yeah. For
who
now,
knows? But
For
I don't
now,
think
for
there's.
now.
If you really think about it, it's like, who else is out there to be acquired at this point? I mean, except for
We were
indie
thinking
studios,
that.
but who knows?
We were thinking that, but I don't know. I mean, what's Remedy doing now? Going.
I think Remedy may be
I feel
scooped up
that's
by
more,
Microsoft.
that's a more of like
Yeah.
It's also
feel
it
like
also
that's gonna
smells a lot
happen.
like a Microsoft acquisition more than
I agree.
anything. Also,
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah. Well, speaking of Sony and not Remedy, one of their best titles that have ever been released, probably what has to be the gem of any game that they have ever released, since they have decided to do their own PlayStation thing.
Metal Gear Solid.
Ghost of Tsushima, director's cut, has been announced for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. It includes new regions with its own story this August. That's around the corner, bro. That's next month.
Shit, that is next month. Okay.
That is next month. Yep. Ghost of Tsushima director's cut, outed by the ESRB rating earlier this week, will launch on August 20th on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4. Developers Sucker Punch Productions announced on Thursday. The release will add a new area and gameplay chapters to the open world adventure, as well as several PlayStation 5 exclusive features. Yay, they making it longer.
Yeah.
Iki Island is the game's new region. Ghost of Tsushima is based on events from feudal Japan. Japan's feudal period, more than 700 years ago. And the neighboring Iki Island, like the island of Tsushima, was invaded by Mongols. Jin Kasai, the protagonist, will travel to Iki to investigate, and instead will get, quote, caught up in events with deeply emotional stakes that will force him to relive some traumatic moments from his past, like that time that he went looking for fox shrines.
Wow.
20,000 times.
Oh, stop it. It was only like 8,000.
Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut will be available as a standalone title for $69.99 on PlayStation 5, $59.99 on PlayStation 4. But it will also have a lower price upgrade options for those who already own the game, which launched on July 17 of 2020 on PS4. Owners of the PlayStation 4, listen to this. Owners of the PlayStation 4 version may update to the director's cut for $19.99 on PlayStation 4, or the PS5 version for $29.99. Those who buy the director's cut on PS4 at full price can later upgrade to the PS5 version for $9.99. Let's see. Sony, and it goes to say, PlayStation 5 owners so far have played Ghost of Tsushima as a backward compatible game that runs at 60 frames per second in 1080p on the beefed up hardware. The PlayStation 5 of Ghost of Tsushima's director's cut will support the DualSense controller's adaptive triggers and advanced haptic feedback. Sucker Punch says the PlayStation 5 version of the director's cut will also offer drastically improved load time. Jesus Christ. So they're going to load in less than a second.
I was going to say, because on PlayStation 4, they were already fast. Jesus Christ.
4K resolution option and frame rates targeting 60 frames per second. Saves gained from the Ghost of Tsushima on PS4 are also transferable to Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut for either PS4 or PS5. This is key because Iki Island chapter is available at the beginning of Act 2 of the main game story. And then it says, Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut will also be accompanied by a free update available for the original PlayStation 4 that will include photo mode improvements, controller remapping options, and the ability to log into targets during combat. Oh, wow. They're going to fix that. Okay.
What?
Yeah, you heard me right. That's why, I mean, this is a long article, but I wanted to read it all because it has some interesting things.
I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like I'm just saying. I mean, regardless how you feel about it, I yes. At first, I was like, why can't I lock on? Why can't I lock on? And then I was like, oh, because it's better if you don't lock on, so you can really take a good, look over your surroundings at all
yeah,
times.
I don't feel like it was an issue, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, at first it was because you're used to a lock on, but
right,
once you get it and realize that's not what it is, it's like, oh, this kind of makes sense.
Right.
But adding a lock on now, I feel like that can, I don't know.
I mean,
interesting choice.
As an option. I mean,
it is an option. Yeah, it's not.
It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine for those who want it. That game has some issues for me. The fighting was not necessarily one of them. The free update will also feature an all new mode, which Sucker Punch will describe as. Which Sucker Punch will describe more fully at a later date. More fully. Okay.
Put that together. More fully.
Yeah. More fully. More fully.
Yeah.
You can more. That's English. Exactly. That sounds like something I would have said. Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Is Ghost of Tsushima a good game? More fully.
Yeah, it works.
Yes,
I'll buy that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done, sir.
I will more fully buy that game.
Nice.
But I will less fully buy this version because I already played this fucking game and I already have my feel. Thank you very much.
Honestly, I think I have had my feel. Like I thought about it. I was like, well, okay, so they have this and they're gonna have a new island. It's like, yeah, it still took me about 50 hours to play the game, and it's like I'm not playing that shit all over again. And I haven't. I've been away for it so long that I'm gonna be a scrub. I got to figure out my shit again. You know what I mean? It's like I can't. I can't.
I mean, you'll be surprised. You probably it was not that difficult to pick up. Remember, sometimes I'll put it down for a bit, and I realized you haven't played it for longer. But whenever I came back to it, I felt like it wasn't that difficult. Like I said, that the combat on that game it's solid. So it is. You get to play your save game. So maybe you do the upgrade. $30 and play Ikishima.
And just run to the island. Well, maybe you could do that. Maybe.
Let me know.
Yeah. The question is, do I want to put $30 to that? I don't know.
I feel like your story ended proper.
I feel like it did too. Yep. I feel like I got the ending I needed. Credits roll. That's my issue. Credits roll. You done fucked up because now I don't know if I'm gonna go back.
I think that's what's fucking Ubisoft.
Yeah, they got it. Yeah, they understand that shit. Yeah.
So they don't roll credits at all.
It's like you never know.
Finish a game? I don't even know. It's like, no, bitch, you keep on playing. Keep on playing our game. Look at the DLC. Right. You want to get the full story, right?
You know what's smart about that is that because the credits really, what does the credits do? The credit shows you who worked on it. I think everybody in Ubisoft said, guys, we need to take one for the team here. We don't need to take credit for the game. They already know where it's coming from. No one ever reads the fucking credits anyway. Let's just take that shit out. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Let's just why spend time having someone write all those names? You got to think about it.
It's like 7 to 10 minutes of fucking of fucking credits.
If you're lucky, I have sat through.
Dude, God of War was like almost 15 to 20 minutes. I swear. God of War 2018.
StarCraft was 45 minutes.
What?
45 minutes of credits. And I went through it all. And then I realized almost at the 43rd minute that there was a way to actually fast forward those credits without skipping them. Yeah. No, just have them roll faster.
Roll faster, yeah.
So they even realized that. Oh God, this is fucking ridiculous.
I mean, at 45 minutes, shit. Yeah, you better realize that.
5 minutes of credit.
Oh man.
And this was back before the Marvel, before Marvel movies made it mandatory to watch credits. There was no idea if there was gonna be a stinger at the end. You had no knowledge of that, so yeah.
But you just didn't know. It wasn't. I mean, shit. I did the same thing with. I remember sitting forever, falling asleep after beating fucking Mario and the Seven Stars, that Mario and the Legends of Seven Stars, that RPG.
Yeah.
Falling asleep on the credits because I was like, no, I need to watch. I need to see. I need to make, because the credits were, significantly long for what it was. And no, dude. And the other thing, of course, I beat it like 2:00 in the morning. So it looks like it's taking forever. But yeah, I hear you. You just don't know.
What time did you beat the Nier Automata that you didn't feel compelled to stay through the credits and just went out and made yourself
prior history had me like, there's nothing here. That's what it was.
The entire reason I wanted you to finish that game, you were like, nope, let's just
I'm gonna go make myself a sandwich.
Yes, exactly. I'm gonna go stand up, not watch this roll, and make myself a sandwich. A level of disrespect. It's I mean, it has created wars.
I mean, yeah, at this point. Thank God for America, because otherwise, if this was Europe, it would be a splintered nation.
Yes.
My next piece, guys, speaking of Control and Remedy. Probably Remedy. Remedy's 2019 third-person shooter set in a trippy government facility is getting a multiplayer spin-off game.
What the hell are you talking about, son?
Remedy announced this on Tuesday. The spin-off, codenamed Condor, will be a 4-player co-op player versus environment game. Furthermore, it will be developed using Remedy's proprietary Northlight engine, which Remedy used to develop Control. In a press release, Remedy says it has agreed to co-publish and develop Condor with 505 Games, who previously worked with Remedy to publish Control back in 2019. 505 Game has also published recent games like Ghost Runner, Death Stranding's PC port, and Journey to the Savage Planet. Remedy also states that Condor's initial development budget is 25 million euros, which will be split between Remedy and 505 Games. This puts it at approximately the same or slightly less than the reported budget for Control, which was about 30 million euros. Yeah. Finally, Remedy and 505 snuck in that they also made a high-level plans for a new, bigger budget game set in the Control universe. This means Remedy is currently working on 6 games, including 2 set in the Control/Alan universe and an unrevealed free-to-play co-op game called Vanguard. This is just me saying the only thing that really interests me out of this was the newer, bigger budget game in the Control universe.
Yes.
The fact that they're doing a multiplayer game and knowing that, I mean, considering the budget that they're mentioning, I can see why the sales. I can see why the sales of Control wasn't a problem, basically, because it was a problem. Control came out the same month that Man of Medan did, and Man of Medan outsold it, and it was only available for like 3 days out of the month.
Wow.
And it outsold Control that came out early in the month. That says it all. I was like, holy shit, that Control did not sell. But when you look at the budget, you go, well, 20,000 to 30 million euros, translate that to fucking, dollars or whatever, it's not a lot. So it didn't really need to sell a lot. And I'm like, well, okay, I guess I get it. I can see why. Because my first thing is like, why are they making more shit here? I don't think they must have not made money, but evidently they did because it was really cheap to do. But no, credit to Remedy at 30 million euros. They
made an amazing game.
A banger. Yeah, that was like, they really fucking made a great game. So you kind of have to, I mean, this is just me personally, you kind of have to look at other ones going, God, why are you spending so much? These guys are obviously being able to do this. But anyway, and then of course, this also brings into the question, well, that's a lot of projects that I don't know if anybody's going to want to invest in Remedy, or in the sense of try to acquisition their ass when you have all these projects in the works. But
That is spreading yourself a little too thin. But like, what do we know, right?
yeah, I mean, we don't own businesses, so what the fuck we know?
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So my next piece is actually a juicy one.
Oh.
I don't know if juicy is the right word for it. I don't know. You know what I said? Juicy. Estoy como Kramer. A big, juicy van. He was trying to sell a van.
Yes.
But reports. There's a report. Dead Space reboot is actually a remake. Something's going on at EA's Motive, and new reports claim that it's a Dead Space revival. What? The super woke game Star Wars Squadrons developers EA Motive is working on a reboot for the hit sci-fi survival horror series Dead Space, according to a new report by GamesBeat. Instead of making Dead Space 4, oh God, no, please, no. Electronic Arts is planning a reboot of the series with a full-fledged remake. GamesBeat writes. This later report corroborates two earlier ones by Eurogamer and Gematsu, claiming some sort of Dead Space revival was in the works at the publisher, and that Star Wars Battlefront 2 co-production studio EA Motive would be leading it. When Squadron released last year, the studio made it clear that it will not be updating the online multiplayer game in perpetuity under a live service model, and would instead be moving on to other projects that weren't Star Wars related. And for those, you guys already know, the Dead Space 3 came out in 2013, and despite relatively positive reviews and seemingly strong sales, it reportedly did not sell enough to please EA executive. Probably because they put a lot of microtransaction bullshit in it. Instead of making Dead Space 4, development studio Visceral Game was put in other projects, including that fantastic Battlefield game, Battlefield Hardline.
Oh,
what is Hardline, you ask?
Wow, I remember that.
I try not to. Then in 2017, EA shut that studio down altogether.
Such a shame.
So anyway,
really reinvented horror, sci-fi horror. Oh,
I am excited about the possibility of getting Dead Space, and I would not have wanted Dead Space 4. I think I'm okay with well, in this case, a remake. I would have been more excited with a reboot, but that's fine. If I need to play as Isaac again, I don't have a problem.
The reality is,
go places. I just don't want it to be. Do you think it's gonna be? I don't want it to be a remaster. As long as it's not a remaster, I'm okay.
I would agree. Although I to an extent, because part of me, if I would have seen Dead Space remaster collection, I mean, they already got me in the fucking master collection, you know what I mean? But if I would have seen that, I'd be like, man, because Dead Space, the first Dead Space, guys, is really true horror. I mean, yes. I could not play that for very long because it was scary. Yes. They did they made adjustments to Dead Space 2 because of Dead Space 1. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, people
Dead Space 2 was still...
Dead 2 was also, scary. But it was... Because you had a character at that point, it was a little bit different. You know, it was much more cinematic.
I think you want to say... I wonder if you're meaning Dead Space 3, because I feel like Dead Space 2 was scary to me also. But then again, it might be because Dead Space 2 was the one that had the evil babies, and that shit just freaks me the fuck out. Oh, okay, then no.
But shut
the fuck up. Dead Space 2 was the scary one.
No. That was literally babies. 20 minutes of the game, and yes, it was pretty horrific.
That was enough. Exploding demon babies. What else can you? What else? And in a nursery, which you knew these babies were human before, and they are playing the entire time the baby music. What do you call that? That shit was
lullaby music.
Lullaby, like lullaby music. No, that shit was probably one of the scariest.
Yeah, but I will still argue clearly before and after it wasn't as bad, right? And in the first Dead Space, man, when I saw that tram, I was like, okay, saving, turning off. It's like it was like this relief. It was like, oh my god, we made it to the next chapter, guys. We made it. High fives all around. Yeah, high fives all around. Real. You know what I mean? It was it was just a that was the only way to play that tension. Game. No, I would try to push myself. I'm not gonna lie. I would try to push myself. I play
one tram a day. That's it.
It was literally I'm just saying that's how tense it was. And so they haven't done, it's almost like I get how hard it was to play the game, but I enjoyed every minute of it. And they need to bring that back. So if they're going to do a remake,
horror games, and I play this.
If they do a remake, it's like you need to do it justice. It's like you cannot they have a potential of falling into a pitfall by not being like the original. A remaster is going to be the original, it's just going to look a lot better. You know what I'm saying? So that's a much safer route, and I don't normally say take the safer route, but at the same time,
I played the that's the problem. Like I would, even though I clearly don't remember everything, I'll be like, well, this shit's probably gonna have less impact because I already know what the monsters look like. I already know that on this, on this section, this is the type of enemy I'm gonna. I'm already gonna be looking at the freaking ducks or whatever like that. That's why I'm saying yes. I would have been okay,
original,
but that's not what I'm. If I hear of a Dead Space project, I want it to be something either new, or something that remakes the story. And this route with an actual remake of it rather than a remaster. I feel like there's potential to still introduce like new and exciting things. As long as those new and exciting things are not, well, let's just make this more shooty broy like they did with this Space 3, which is where that they screwed the pooch on that one, and then they wonder like why didn't it sell? Well, because it's not the same fucking game. First of all, you introduced a co-op feature that nobody asked for. Nobody wanted to play Dead Space co-op, even though, yes, you think, oh, the idea, if you and I, Mad Dog, are playing together, at least it won't be as scary. No, but that's not the reason you play those games.
Correct.
You play those games to be fucking scared.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly the reason I played the game. First one was so traumatizing, traumatizing that in part 2, when you see the Ishimura, I had this huge feeling of dread. That's how good the first one was. It literally, like, it fractured my psyche or something. It just like I saw it, I was like a shiver happened. I was like, oh,
you're going back to Ishimura.
God damn it, it's right there. It's right there. It's looking at me. Fuck. You know what I mean? It's like I can't. And I knew it.
It's like Ripley going back to forgot the name of it, but yeah.
Yeah, it's just like I knew we were gonna go back into the ship, and it was gonna happen. And you're in it, and as you're in it, you're just because it's designed the exact same way. So another brilliant move. It's like, no, this is gonna be very familiar to people who play the first one, and you're already freaking out because you're just like, fuck this ship. You know what I mean? But you have to go there because you have to, whatever the storyline takes you there. But that is a testament to how traumatic the first one was. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hear you, but they gotta bring it. If they're gonna do a proper remake, they gotta bring it. They can't half-ass it. And I don't know if I trust EA not to half-ass it, because guess what? The team who could give you that, you fucking let go. So yeah. By the way,
allegory.
what other team do you have? By the way, you've let go of every team except for BioWare and Dice. So
Yeah.
I don't know what else you have going on over there. But
Ripley not wanting to go back to LV 426. That's the name I was looking for.
Yes.
It's like that moment.
It's like, no, I don't want to fucking go. Yeah,
I don't want to go back to the Ishimura.
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah. Well fucking said, sir.
Yeah.
My last piece here, guys, is a little bit of sad news. Maybe BioWare has announced that it has no plans to show any of its game, including the next Mass Effect or Dragon Age 4 at EA Play Live 2021. BioWare shared this news on Twitter, saying that they're hard at work at these much anticipated games, and that fans will have to wait a bit longer for another look at them. So that's really it. I mean, we don't know what. I mean, at this point, I feel like we're probably going to hear about how the Dead Space rolls out. But other than that, BioWare's not going to be there. So that's a huge cog not there. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot more of fucking Battlefield, because that's always a thing.
Yeah, that's the game that they're going to be pimping. And
yeah,
I don't know. Yeah, the fact that they're not showing Dragon Age 4 kind of concerned me in the same way that not seeing.
I knew that shit was fucking way in development. I was like, no, they're not ready.
Yeah. So that is. I mean, if it's gonna be like, I don't need to see more Battlefield, and I know you guys want to, and that's fine. It looks great, but it's a fucking multiplayer game. Like I already know what to expect of it. There's I feel like they show, and even if I didn't, I don't need to see more. Huh?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like they show those things off, and it's like, who are you really showing this off to? Because the people who play this game aren't watching this. You know what I mean? It's like, it's almost like they don't know their audience. You know, I'm sure you have a few people who play it, but that's not your audience. Your audience just waits for the product. Once it comes out, they just buy it without question. You know what I mean? Yeah. So same thing as the Call of Duty crowd. It's like they just buy the next Call of Duty. They don't look at reviews. It's like, oh, new Call of Duty every year. I'm gonna go get it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So and they're not sitting there watching E3. You know what I mean? So it's like, who are you showing this to? But
yeah.
It is what it is. Maybe the investors, I assume, but that's all I got, sir.
I have one more piece, and who wants to hear about GameStop scummy practices? Huh?
Me.
All right. Well, 8 months after release, it is still extremely hard to get a hold of a PS5. New stock sells out almost as quickly as it gets advertised. No joke, man.
Yeah, I know.
And the scarcity has led to some weird hijinks as companies try to capitalize on the hype. The latest one, letting paid subscribers cut in line to order first. Today, GameStop emailed a new promotion to paid power-ups reward members, announcing that they will get first dibs on buying PlayStation 5s and high-end PC cards from its latest limited stock. The quote says, "To show our appreciation, we're opening early online access for Pro members only to purchase a PlayStation 5 or PC graphics card today at 10 Central Time on GameStop.com." And quote. Actually, no, it continues. It says, "This won't guarantee that you will get one of these products. Quantities are extremely limited, but we want to help. We want to help provide our best guests with a better opportunity to score one of these high demand items." End quote. In other words, we want you to pay money for the chance to play lottery and see if you can actually score one of these, before the general population that we'll never get to see one from us, because let's face it, anything that goes to pay clients, they're not gonna reserve a few for the rest of us. GameStop did not immediately respond to requests for comment from Kotaku. And the promotion was first spotted by gaming tips maestro Wario64. Which you should all follow on Twitter if you want to get good deals on games, and went and the person went to check their email, and there it was. As a Rewards Pro subscriber, and consequent, or that person is a Rewards Pro subscriber, and consequently one of GameStop's best guests, quote unquote. The Pro membership is $20 a year in exchange for earning points on purchases on monthly discount coupons, yada yada yada. Anyway, real fucking scummy move by GameStop. Obviously, a way to capitalize on the difficulty of getting these consoles. Now you get to pay them $20 for the privilege of being able to pay them more money for the PlayStation, and for being kind of like an insider's market, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
Lord knows that they have like lately no insider information.
Yeah.
They have no pool or anything. It's like at this point, it's clear console manufacturers. Because remember, for a time, brick and mortar stores held some sway on console manufacturers because the reality is we need you to sell our consoles. You know what I mean? But that's not the case anymore. You know what I mean? And so they're dying. And I would say I feel bad for the company, but I really don't. I feel bad for the people. People work there. There's regular old Joe working at a GameStop, but regular old Joe, you gotta see the writing on the wall, my friend. It's about time to maybe.
Oh, you never.
Else,
I mean, yeah, you don't blame the people that work there. Just work there. Is the corporation making just the decisions, and also just the sheer there's something really disgusting about, well, pay us $20 if you want to buy
a chance.
If you want a chance.
Yeah,
exactly. It's not even a chance to get it from. It's very scummy. I mean, this is the company that we all decided to bail out from financial ruin when people did the GameStop meme stock or whatever.
Yeah. But I mean, it's clear that it didn't save them. It just extended their death sentence. Really, that's true. Right? It's extended the death sentence. It didn't save them in any way. It made people money. That
they got money.
They Yeah, but
they got GameStop
did money. Yeah.
They were talking about the financial, what they're doing with the extra money, and it was, I don't remember the number, but it was a fuck ton. It was, like I said, they buy them. It bought them good time, I would say. They're not going anywhere. Good for them, because we don't want people to lose their jobs, but at the same time, fuck corporations like that make shit.
That's a bullshit move for sure.
I don't want to talk about GameStop anymore. How about we cut the break?
I think so. I think it's time for a quick break, and I also think it's time to move on to the next segment, which is our hot topic of the week. But we'll be right back after these messages.
Do you make butt at your current job? Do you want to make twice butt? A shady online degree is just 4 clicks away at CGNU Online University. Most colleges take 4 years to complete. At CGNU, 1 year equals 1 click.
I got 14 degrees while on my lunch break. Now I can legally prescribe marriages in the state of Kansas.
Enroll now and join the University Evolution E-Day. Well, today. That last one didn't quite work out.
And we are back, guys, and it is now time for our hot topic of the week.
Hot topic!
Yes, guys, it is now time for us to look at the rest of the 2021 games releases, and basically we're going to rank these bad boys essentially based on our excitement, and they're going to fall into 4 categories. Category 1 is a day one purchase. Category 2 is a wait and see. Category 3 is a curious but maybe later, and then category 4 is not a chance in hell. And so we're gonna go obviously with the tentpole titles, and we're gonna start in July, since that will be the second half of 2021. And I'm just gonna throw it out there, sir. A Plague Tale Innocence, PlayStation 5. I feel like you're gonna do this because it's fucking free. How are you feeling about that one, sir?
I am extremely excited about the fact that it's free. But I was excuse me, I was already planning on actually getting this. Getting on PC, as a matter of fact, because every time I was ready to jump the gun, I've seen this game as low as what? Probably like $15. Mm-hmm. And the only reason I haven't done so is because I keep thinking like, yes, I could buy it now, but I'm probably not gonna play it yet. So I'll wait until I'm ready to play it, in which case it'll probably be even lower. It's like one of those games that, because you don't hear a lot of it in the front lines, you tend to think that they're probably gonna put it cheaper now at some point. Yeah. And look, it paid off because now it's free.
I mean, it's gone through a few sales. I mean, if I had known, I would have told you a few times, dude, it's on sale, and I think it was like like $20 or something like that, maybe 15. But yeah, no, I get you. And it stands to reason to mention this real quick. This is the this is the upscale release of this game. It's coming on the same day, July 6th. It's coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and Switch. But appears to be only as far as a free thing on the PlayStation Plus. So that's an interesting thing. I mean, granted, it's not Game Pass because Game Pass is longer than a month. But hey, this is a benefit. You know what I mean? I mean, anybody on Xbox, anybody Series X is gonna have to probably pay for it. Obviously, in Switch, you're gonna pay for it. Mm-hmm. The fucking Switch ain't got shit. But it's something to consider. It's like, well, they may not have Game Pass, but they have some things that can compete sort of with it, in a weird, odd way. But all right, moving on to the next one, sir. Well, first of all, no, where are we at?
Yeah. I haven't told.
Sorry.
The fact that
excited.
Hold on. I need to also not to keep asking you. I need to write down. I didn't write down the.
I sent it to you on Facebook, Messenger.
Oh. In that case, I'm looking for it and I can't find it.
So we have day one purchase.
Day
wait
one.
And see.
Wait and see.
Curious, but maybe later. And then, of course, your favorite. Not a chance.
And yes, nope. There's no reason not to get this because it's free. But even if this would, I was already on a wait and see. And when I say wait and see, I don't mean it in the sense of, well, let me see if it was good, because I already knew it was good. It has your seal of approval. It was more of the, let me wait until I really not in the middle of something. So, but yeah, I'm tagging this shit like as soon as it's available.
Day one purchase. I agree. I'm probably gonna do the same thing. Only because again,
there's no reason not to.
Yeah, PlayStation Plus. So I'm just gonna literally tag it the moment I see it, and even if I don't get to it at that point. So I agree, sir. All right. Cool beans. Moving on to the next one, we've got The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD for the Switch. Where are you at with this one, sir? What's your temperature level on this one?
I recognize it. Zelda's a great game. I recognize that.
By the way, I don't think I mentioned it. July 16th. I need to throw the date out. July 16th. Yeah.
For Zelda.
Yeah. For Zelda Skyward Sword. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For Skyward Sword. Okay. Skyward Sword, however, was not a Zelda that I cared to explore, because first of all, it came on the Wii. I didn't care much for the idea of waggling, I mean, not even Miyamoto can put that shit on the E3 press conference when they showed it. So it didn't look like
U, but yeah.
Oh. What was the one that he was trying to?
That was was that
Skyward Sword?
It was Twilight Princess was the one that was on the Wii.
He showed Skyward Sword because that's the one I remember you waggled to
maybe it was on the Wii, because that was also cross gen. So it was probably Wii U. Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. In any case, I'm not interested on Skyward Sword at all, and because it's a Zelda game, I don't have to worry about missing out on the continuity or whatever. So, nope, not a chance in hell. I
Whoa,
have.
nice. Okay, we got a we got a not a chance.
It,
For me, it is a curious, but maybe later.
maybe later.
Yeah, maybe later.
Skyward Sword.
Yeah, because I dig the Zelda games, and this is a more traditional Zelda game as opposed to
True.
Breath of the Wild. So maybe later. I mean, I may just not go back to it, but I am curious. It doesn't require the waggle because they updated it, so that alone makes me go, okay, good. I could just play this like a normal fucking game. Okay, I'm down.
No motion controls.
Yeah,
required.
no motion controls, exactly. So that's why it's a more curious, maybe, but maybe later. It comes down to what's available, right? Because I mean, we know the price is not going to go down for this game, so it's like
that's what I was going to say. Nintendo doesn't have sales.
Yeah, well, maybe later doesn't mean sale. It just means later on. I mean, it could be just a lull. There's no games coming out. I've got nothing in my backlog I want to do. Fuck it. Let me just jump in.
Breath of the Wild.
Maybe. I won't say not a chance in hell, but I'll still say curious, but maybe later.
I think Breath of the Wild to you is more of a not a chance in hell than curious, but maybe later. Even though a game is deserve its day one status, I will still think
it
that
does. Yeah,
what it does is very special. I mean, granted, fucking what's the free to play game that is out now that I feel like it has done it a little bit better now.
Oh, yeah, I know you're talking about the Japanese
Genshin Impact.
Genshin Impact.
It almost feels like it has that, but it's not the same. It's still not the same. Similar and similar mechanics, some improvements here and there, but it's not the thing that you get Zelda. Also, when I was playing that game, the game does a very good job of making you feel like what you're playing is something special. I don't know how to describe it, other than that even with the bullshit, you are playing a very polished, quality game. You know,
fair enough.
Which is like the complete opposite of any fucking Ubisoft game that you can play, or gaming in general. Like, this is a Nintendo property. They have obviously taking care of this. It has a lot of neat tricks that you sort of could discover by accident. But even if you don't discover, it's not like it hinders you or anything like that. But if you discover them, it has that emerging gameplay. It has a lot of emerging gameplay. That's what I'm trying to say. And that's why I feel like, it deserves its day one status, but only if you're really into it,
Well, I'm going to say this, sir. You have convinced me. I am going to move Skyward Sword from curious maybe later to wait and see. Thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Wait and see. Skyward Sword, you said. Okay. All right. Well,
good job, sir.
I somehow didn't. It wasn't what I was going for, but I'll take it. What can you do at this point?
Oh man. Sorry, I couldn't resist on that one. But this next one here is really just for me, so I'm just gonna mention it and throw it out, and we can move on. And that is Cris Tales, coming out July 20th. This is a day one purchase for me. Cris Tales, CRIS Tales, 2 words. It's coming out of PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, Stadia, all on July 20th. It's something I have been looking forward to for quite some time. Got a couple delays. It is your traditional turn-based RPG with many stylish things, but it also has a time travel element where within a certain prism, you're in the present. To the left, I think, is the past. To the right, I think, is the future, and you use that to your advantage. I have been looking forward to this one for a long time, and it has not moved. and we are less than 20 days away. So I was like, okay, fine, because it has moved a few times. It's been delayed a few times. So this is a day one purchase for me.
I like the art style of the menu system. Very Persona.
I was gonna say, yeah,
Persona.
it has a nice flair to
Persona
it. Very
5,
similar,
I mean.
yeah, Persona
Yeah.
5, yeah. Has a nice flair to it. I will ask if you want to rate it on anything, but I don't know if you even know about it past
You know what?
right now.
I'm looking at alpha footage of it, and I'm gonna be honest. I'm not like super thrilled about the art style in itself. Not because it looks bad, because it really doesn't. It kind of have a particular like a very nice cell shaded flair, or would you call that cell shaded? Maybe not. Maybe not.
No,
cel-shaded,
I would
but
say that's
definitely
very
cartoony.
animated. Very yeah,
Yeah,
like animation. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. So it looks good. I love that menu system. It's super Persona 5 esque. I'm gonna wait and see in this one, believe it or not.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I'm
okay.
gonna
For
wait and
reviews
see.
or for price?
I think
Well,
I
the
want
venue,
to
yeah.
I want to know reviews on it, because if I hear, like, for example, that this game is fantastic, like if they're giving it like 8s and 9s, that I know I need to put it on the list, because
Okay.
it has the it has the looks of being something.
It does look
special.
special, and I have been
Yeah.
literally following this game now for about a year and a half, maybe a little more.
Which is
And-
weird, because I don't. That's the only part that I don't see. I mean, certainly it looks good, but like, what is it that you're seeing that makes it, that suddenly puts it on that? Like,
Oh, just honestly, it immediately reminded me of Child of Light. Right, Child of Light had this beautiful
Child of
art
Light,
style,
yes.
and on top of that, it was a turn-based RPG. It
Yes.
was a roughly about a 15-hour long one.
Mhm,
Wasn't a
mhm.
huge major time sink, and it delivered in the goods. And that's what I'm expecting from this. I'm hoping that it's not a huge major time sink. It doesn't look like it will be,
Yeah.
and it does have a turn-based. It does have a cool art style. It just looks like it's going to deliver along those lines, and that's enough for me to go, I'm in. You know what I mean? So that's what
Yeah.
makes me day one, because I was day one the last 3 times that they had the release date.
Mhm.
So I'm just gonna continue, basically. So yeah, so that's one. Now, the next one here, I feel like I shouldn't even mention, but I was just gonna throw it out there. The Little Devil Inside was a game that we saw at one of the PlayStation events or something like that. It has a July date, but not a specific date. So chances are it may not even come out at this point, considering we are in July and it has no specific date. I'm gonna put that on the wait and see list, because I don't know. I don't know if you remember this one. I know we saw the event together, but
Every game that you bring out that I don't remember, I pull out gameplay and started.
okay, The Little
okay,
Devil Inside, yeah, is the title of it, and it's clearly a little indie title. It looks very stylish. I'm not honestly. I don't
Kind
know
of like
what.
inside in a way.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
not in
I'm
the
not sure.
side scrolling, but in the look.
But it
of
has
the characters.
several things. Yeah, it has several things going on, which is what makes me even more curious, because
Mhm.
it does look like you control a character at one point, but at some point it jumps to another character, and I'm not sure what we're doing with him. It's not connected in any way, and that's what makes me curious about it. But again, I'm pretty sure this has gotten delayed, and they just haven't made the announcement yet, because we're in July and they never actually gave a date originally. So moving on to August.
I don't care. I don't matter. My
Oh,
opinion.
sorry.
Sorry.
No, my bad.
This is a game that clearly I didn't remember. About looking at gameplay again, because I think I was actually, the first time I saw that, I was fascinated by the look, because again, even though it's not specifically a side scroller like Inside, it does have that graphical style to it, and which I really like. This one looks interesting like that. It seems to have some elements of survival even. I don't know how I feel about that just yet, but you're also hunting, which makes me think that then you must be on some sort of like pilgrimage or going somewhere.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is probably a wait and see for me. Waiting on
Okay.
reviews to
Okay.
see if it blows it like if the reviews blows it out the water. I know those are the games that I need to put on my list.
Oh, for
If
sure.
it's gonna be like a 7 or something like that, that's good. But at that point, it'll probably be a curious.
Curious.
maybe
Yeah.
later.
Later down the road. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. All right, so we're in August, and we're going to the re-release, or I guess release a new console. Hades coming to Xbox One and PlayStation 4, 5. I think this is a day one. This is a no. Actually, you know what? I will take that back. This is a curious and wait and see, because it really depends on what I'm doing. If I have nothing going on August 13th when this is released, then I'm gonna fucking do it day one. It's not a wait and see because I don't need to wait for anything. I know how awesome it is. So it's just, hey, I'm curious about it.
You own it.
Yeah, exactly. I already own it. So it's really good, but it just be a maybe later at this point. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it all really depends. Where are you at with Hades, sir? Yeah, you have a copy of it too.
Hades, yes, I do own Hades. I don't know when I'm gonna go back to it, if I'm gonna go back to it. So I'm gonna rate it a curious, but maybe later for me that have played it and even have played it since the early access. I will suggest others that haven't played it to consider this, look at it closely, and who knows, this might be a day one for you and very well deserved so, because the game is great.
I agree 100%. Next one on the list, August 19th, has 12 minutes, which Xbox has been showing off for quite some time. This is I know that it has Willem Dafoe. And it looks like a nice
Day one
indie.
right there.
Yeah, I mean, just from that. It's only on Xbox One and PC. Obviously, Xbox One means Xbox Series X. So for me, it's really a curious, but maybe later. Mostly because I'm gonna have to play it on PC, unless I actually get a Series X, at some point, or maybe even an X. Who knows? At some point, because I'm not gonna be able to play it any other way. So, or if I say fuck that, if it's just one game, I might just pull it up on the PC. It doesn't look like it's a very taxing game, so it may just run just fine. So this is a curious but wait and see. Maybe later, Scare.
I would say curious also, but wait and see. I mean, I'm certainly intrigued by the idea of what this game is, kind of like a time loop situation. I like those concept of playing with time. I've always like that. The perspective looks a little odd.
Yeah, it's a top down.
Yeah. So
But the voice work, from what I remember in many of the trailers, is exceptionally top notch.
Yeah,
that alone has me like, you know what I mean? It's like, in the end, characterization and acting can really deliver on a performance. So that's really what it has my attention.
Yeah, and this could jump up to day one depending on reviews. Again, if it's something that is stellar, but at this point, like, for what I see, it looks interesting, but it's not like really pushing me to consider it just yet. I will consider it if I still hearing like raving reviews, but it's not the game that just automatically grasps me like, okay, I need to know what this is about, just yet. And I mean, it's available on PC, so it shouldn't be an issue. But
yeah, I agree. Next one up, August 24th, Kena, Bridge of Spirits. We saw this at one of the PlayStation events. This looks too good to be true. And it's coming from a developer that I also don't know. It's an unknown factor. So because of that, this is definitely a wait and see for me. but it looks really good. It looks really, really good. And
It
to
looks
be fair,
beautiful. Yep.
there have been previews that have been done recently. People who have played an hour to hour and a half of the game, and most are praising it still, but it's still wait and see. Because again, it's an unproven developer, and I hope that they can nail what they're doing. I understand the game is not very long, so that's also a good thing. But it literally looks like a fucking Pixar game. It literally looks like a Pixar game.
It looks beautiful.
It's coming to PC, PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4. This is a console exclusive, but also coming to PC.
And it's not a console exclusive.
It is yes, is it in the sense
I see
that
what
it's
you
only
mean.
coming to PlayStation.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I understood what you meant now.
Yeah,
it's not coming to Xbox.
It's not coming to any other console. Yeah,
right.
This for me is a wait and see because of the fact that they're unproven, but early reports make it feel like it's going to be a good one. But we'll see. What do you?
It does look.
No,
I'm with you on this on that also. I also believe this is a wait and see, just because, like you said, the animation, the graphics, and the gameplay, which is like it is a third person view. It is beautiful. I mean, it is very attractive. I can't speak how the rest of the gameplay will be, but it certainly looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not a game that at first chance I'll be like, oh man, I can't wait. That's why you don't see me rating a lot of these games day one. A day one, I will have to be like something that is a surefire thing for me. It's like Forza
or something you believe in.
When you get to Forza, that's a day one. Spoiler alert. So, but yeah, I'll see how this game performs and if I transform it into a day one.
Okay. Next one on the list. This is Psychonauts 2 coming out August 25th, the day after. Coming to PC, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One. This is exclusive console exclusive to, obviously, because they own Double Fine, and obviously it's coming to PC. I never played the first Psychonauts. I understand it's good, but I never actually got into it. So I'm not really going to jump in on the second one. So this is not a chance in hell, but not really because I don't like it, just because I have no connection to it.
Right.
So where are you at with this
one? I'm gonna have to say the same. I mean, I recognize Psychonauts. Psychonauts is one of those classics, right? Just because we didn't experience it doesn't take away the fact that
correct. Yeah,
it is
exactly.
it is a well known, well loved title. It's from Double Fine, which when it came out, it was just it was independent developer. Now they're part of the Xbox NES. But I never played the first one. I'm not particularly a fan of the look of it. I heard it's a great game and all. Don't get me wrong. But
yeah, it does have some interesting character design.
Yeah. It's like one of it's like Oddworld. Oddworld is a game that I recognize.
I like Oddworld, but I have a connection to it. Yeah.
But yeah, I can't. I don't like. Characters are way too unattractive to carry my interest. I am that shallow. I also don't play furries.
Wow.
So, which is not to say Outworld is that, but I just felt like interjecting it there so you guys could hate me more. Yeah, this is not a chance in hell. But for the same reason, I just don't have the connection to it.
Good stuff. Next one here, real quick, to finish off August, we have No More Heroes 3. I'm always a big fan of No More Heroes, but I also get that they are not always the best games, in the sense that sometimes the controls are wonky, sometimes it's got some frame rate issues, which get corrected eventually. For me, this is still, even though I'm interested in it, it's still a curious but maybe later. It's coming to the Switch only August 27th, so it's a Switch. I don't want to say exclusive, but at least at first it is.
I mean,
so it's like I don't really play the Switch very often, and so it's definitely curious, but maybe later.
Right. I don't know anything about these games. You have told me that they're good. It has some ridiculous gameplay. Like right now, I'm looking at something that looks like just throwing a ball to a cat.
Yeah.
Is a part of it.
Yep.
even though it's a character action game, right? Or so I'm led to believe.
Yeah, it's a third-person action game. Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's probably gonna be great. There's not a chance in hell that I'm gonna play this because
Yeah, I figured if you never played the first two, it makes perfect sense.
I have no connection to it. But again, it could be a fantastic game.
Could be, yeah. Moving on into September, we've got Riders Republic coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Stadia on September 2nd. This is not a chance in hell for me.
Yeah.
So I mean, hands down. Yeah, and I recognize that it looks interesting. It's just none of it is my interest. So
you know what? I'm gonna. You know what? First of all, this is not the. This was not the off. Oh, Jesus. Here's the problem with Ubisoft. You made a game that I thought it was gonna be something like that, something special, The Crew 2, and it ended up being hot garbage. Right now, I don't trust that this game is gonna be anything other than meh. So however, are not, I do like crazy extreme games, I guess you could call it.
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of SSX Tricky. If I hear good ravings on this game, I could certainly consider it. So I'll put it on curious, but maybe later.
Okay, interesting. All right,
Yeah.
Riders Republic.
Riders
Has a
Republic. I mean,
curiosity angle.
at the very yes.
At the
yeah,
very
yeah.
least, okay. Yeah, for me, it's still not a chance in hell. It's just I
No,
played.
I
I
think
played.
it's
Yeah, I
the
played the
anti-game
one that
for
they
you.
had. I can't remember what it's called. Steep. I think it was called Steep.
Oh, Steve.
I played Steep, and because it came to PlayStation PlayStation Plus.
Plus,
That was the only
okay.
reason I played it, and I was like, "Well, this is actually pretty good," but it's nothing I would have actually
No.
pay for. You know what I mean? So I was like, no.
Mhm.
The only reason I thought it was good is because of that. And if they had a Steep 2, yeah, I wouldn't pay for it. You know what I mean? So it's good, but not that good. Moving on,
This
September.
seems like it has some crazy like. I'm looking at drone races. It's like
Yeah,
or
it does
what
have some
appears to be drone
interesting
races.
stuff.
Yeah.
And also has like large groups. It was like a good 100 people riding a bike or something. I was like,
Yes.
well, that's kind of cool.
Which
you
could
know?
be good or really bad.
Yeah,
depending on
exactly.
situations.
Net
So,
code
no.
can really fuck it up. Somebody
Mhm.
having the worst
Mhm.
fucking internet can really fuck it up. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so moving on. September 10th, Life is Strange True Colors coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, Stadia. This one is easily a curious, but maybe later. After the first one, I probably would have gone much higher. Wait and see, maybe even day one. After Life is Strange 2, kind of moved it down a little bit. It's like Life is Strange 2 was not what I was expecting. I couldn't even finish it. And so I don't know what to expect here. And it's also episodic still, I think. No. Maybe they said they're going to release it all together. I don't know.
Altogether,
So that's still something out there. I don't know. So I don't know. Because of that, it's really a curious, but maybe later.
Wow.
Yeah.
So this is the day one for me.
No, it's not. Stop
Yes, it is.
What?
I tell you why.
it. Okay.
I absolutely love Life is Strange. Obviously, yeah,
Yeah.
that game was phenomenal, no doubt. The second one, like it didn't attract, like it didn't call my attention because it seems like it was. Well, first I didn't understand. First, I was under the impression that this game is a hard departure from Life is Strange.
The
You know,
regular.
your
Mhm.
your character has no particularly special abilities or anything like that. It's just gonna be well at that point what I would consider a Telltale game. And you know what? I play a lot of those. If you're not gonna give me anything special on it, plus the plot of it, it didn't like it really didn't call out to me. So that's why I let it pass. And Apparently, so did you. So, and now that you say
I
that you
tried part 2 though. You haven't even tried it.
No.
So I got, I think it was like episode 2, probably towards the end of 2, maybe into 3. And I was like, this is not, it's not grabbing. It's not
hitting.
even close
Not
to
hitting.
the original. Yeah.
No.
So yeah.
Well, so
but
far,
who knows? Who knows?
I don't know if this is marketing at work, but so far what I've seen of this one, it seemed like there's an interesting story. It seems like you have a particular ability that is actually interesting to explore. It's not going to be the rewind time. Unfortunately, it's never going to be that. That was very awesome on the original Life is Strange.
Mm-hmm. But it's cool that they're going with different things, right? And the second one, it was telekinesis. Here seems to be more of an emotional connection, or being able to see emotions via color. Yeah,
I am interested on seeing what that is, because if I feel like this game is gonna present you with a lot of hard choices that you have to make based on your interpretation of the emotions, and then it plays out, and I'm going to decide to trust them. You know, I think they learned from the second one.
Respect.
For the second one, and
okay.
Yeah,
to be fair,
it looks good. It looks really good.
To be fair, the second one got actually really good reviews. It just, for whatever reason, didn't connect with me. So you're maybe right. This may be an immediate winner. And I can tell you right now, I got a curious, but maybe later. But if I start seeing 9, 5s, and 10s, I'm like, okay, wait a minute. It's like, clearly I may be wrong behind this, and I may jump in. But obviously that's still more wait and see than it is curious, but maybe later. So we'll see what comes from that. Interesting. Good stuff. The next one, guys, September 14th, Deathloop, coming to PC and PlayStation 5, no PlayStation 4. This one here is a wait and see for me. I don't know about it. It looks interesting. There are moments where it looks so cool, and there are other moments where I'm like, this still looks a little last gen. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. You know, the thing is, I'm confused. I don't even know what it is. So it's like really more of a wait and see, and maybe get a better understanding. Like, I've seen a couple of the trailers where kind of give you some understanding as to what the game is about, but at the same time I'm still left with, I still don't know. And one of the trailers is so fucking cool. It's like one of the coolest James Bond like trailer. I'm like, man, I'm in. And then I'm like, but wait, I don't know what this is about. So it's like, so for me, it's definitely still wait and see. I'm curious for sure, but I'm still waiting to see. If this, again, 9s, 5s, I might jump on this, shortly thereafter.
Yeah. I don't think it's gonna reach that level though.
I don't think so either. I'm just saying,
I'm looking at gameplay, and some of the enemies look like just dumb fodder. They don't even move. They don't even move from. They're shooting at you from no cover with no. It says to move. Like, I get it. The marketing behind it looks really cool. Very James Bond-esque, like you mentioned, but it might just be all style and no substance, and that's what I'm a little like. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm gonna say I'm curious, but maybe later if it reviews, decently.
Or price. Right, I got you. Yeah. Next one here is Diablo 2 Resurrected, coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch.
Day one.
This is a September 23rd, and clearly it's a day one purchase for Mr.
Without the shadow of a doubt. This game is a day one. Oh my God, I'm excited to hear actually that it is not that far away.
Yeah, September 23rd is. Yeah, it's actually pretty close.
Yeah.
For me, unfortunately, this is more of a curious, but maybe later. I don't have any connection to the Diablo series.
No.
I understand Diablo 3.
Why don't we start though with Diablo 2?
I was going to say, this may be the
amazing.
perfect entry point. I don't think I'm going to do day one on it for an entry point, but But I did see a lot of the improvements. When they do
Yeah.
those comparisons, I'm like, okay, well, clearly they they did their homework how to fix this, but still, it sits on a curious, but maybe later for me. But hey, day one purchase for you. Interesting stuff.
If what if it turns out PlayStation version 9 almost
Oh, it doesn't matter. I mean,
it
the
is
problem is that Diablo 2 was probably a 9 already, you know what I mean? And Diablo 3 was also up in the, you know what I'm saying? They always high review,
yeah
but I don't have a connection to it. So it's one of those things
yeah
where
yeah.
I unless I have a connection to it, it's like, you can be a 10. It's like, well, that's good, but maybe it's just not something I'm into,
No, that's true. And
Yeah.
and to be honest, when you look at it, I mean, it's amazing that they're remaking Diablo 2 at the same time. It's Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. I feel like the movement, the character, like everything, it's already kind of improved in a way that just feels more like what it is, which is a remake.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Diablo 3 is the origin, the next gen, quote unquote, title. Well, I guess the last gen now, but I did like Diablo 2 a lot, and I wouldn't mind playing it again. And
Okay.
I'm excited.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Fair enough. All right. So we are moving into October. And the very first one in October is first of all, October has some big hitters, but the very first big hitter in October is Far Cry 6 coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox One X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Stadia on October 7th. This one for me, I want it to be a day one purchase, but it is a
But
wait and see. Yeah, because Far Cry has its history.
yeah.
Now,
They get Ubisoft. They get Ubisoft it.
they could Ubisoft it, and to be fair, this one looks like they may understand. It's almost like they just may understand what someone wants from Far Cry. That we don't need it to be a political powerhouse or anything like that, you know. But you know what? If you got a message to say, stick with it. Get a good story and go for it. You know what I mean? In the end, it's still fiction. Doesn't fucking matter what it is, So it looks like they may have bought into that. But considering history, they may not have. So it is definitely wait and see. I would definitely say if I start seeing some awesome stuff out of that, as far as not just review numbers, but people going, you know what, they really leaned into it this time when they were avoiding it before, then this it going to be day one, because obviously I'm still waiting and seeing, but it won't be shortly thereafter.
Sir, I could not say that there is a bad Far Cry game. There are
Far Cry 5 seemed fairly close to that. I'm just saying from your
no
words.
Far Cry. I can't. At the end of the day, I can say that I was disappointed with Far Cry 5 with a lot of the things, but I cannot. I played that game to completion, and I'm enjoying my time with it. It's that weird Ubisoftness of games where some of them don't have to like blow it out of the park to be entertaining. I don't know what it is, but I remember it like with Far Cry 3, Far Cry. I mean, Far Cry 3 was amazing. Far Cry 4 was arguably better, but I felt like it was more Far Cry 3 at that point. So Far Cry 5 was a little bit more of a departure in a way.
I'm curious in the sense that I'm like, well, this will be my first official Far Cry. So I only played Far Cry Blood Dragon, which was a DLC for Far Cry 3.
Well,
So I've never played any of them at this point, and I hear nothing but good stuff about them. But I've also heard those weird things where it's like, well, it is a sandbox. And when I hear sandbox, it's like, this is just that one,
but it's not. It is and it isn't. It is because it is in the sense that you can go fucking anywhere if you want, but the mission structure is linear. It's definitely linear. I mean, it's linear. Let's say if there are 3 factions, even though you can go anywhere, usually when you're working for one faction, you're completing the storyline for that faction. It's not something where you'll get you get lost or you get what's the word where you get anxiety of like, what do I do now? I don't know where to go next. You don't get that. You don't get that. That's why I don't really consider sandboxing the same that yes, you can do a lot of things. So you could go crazy with it. You can invent shit, but not in the sense of emerging gameplay. I wouldn't say it's that.
Okay. Makes sense. Where you
I'm
at?
s-
with it?
That's a day alpha for me. This
Oh,
is
nice.
I'm
Okay.
getting this, and I might be or not might be. I know that I'm going to be doing the DLC also because I want one of the reasons I'm so excited about it is the fact of Blood Dragon remake, and or
As
remaster.
do I. So
Uh,
I mean, if I do this, let me tell you, it would include that because Blood Dragon is just
yeah,
so
and I don't
good, man.
remember anything about. I want to go, and
You
also
finished Blood Dragon?
no, I
Oh,
did I
okay.
did not, but it was because at that point I had played so much of Far Cry 3. It will be it would be also for the DLC of the bad guys, So I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah, no, for
I
sure.
want to know what that is. I want to play as Vaz. Vaz is one of my favorite villains in video games.
I
I
do
want to
too,
play
but I want
that.
to make sure that the what I'm playing makes sense. I
Right,
can't just be
right.
playing just because hey, you're playing the villain.
No,
Ooh,
right, because
because you're
at
playing
that time
some
it's no
weird
different
fucking
than a
thing.
skin. But
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
it looks like I don't know. In the case of Vaz, it looks like almost like he's tripping out or something. I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know.
it does look
Yeah,
that way. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I
Mm.
agree. All right, good stuff. So day one for you. For me, it's not far behind. Depending
This
on
might
what's
be the
gonna.
most anticipated game, unless you mention something else that I'm not remembering. But right now,
Okay.
is the one that I'm looking most forward.
Nice. The next one is October 8th, and that's Metroid Dread coming to the Switch.
Oh,
This one here is definitely a wait and see for me. Not that I think it's going to be anything bad. It's just I don't know. It feels like
mm,
it's almost like a stopgap between Metroid Prime 4, which is what they were mentioning, and I don't know where this pops up. And this is, by the way, they mentioned this like 8 years ago as being a game that was, so it's like, where the hell has it been? Why has it taken so long? What's wrong with it? So it's definitely wait and see. It definitely is old school Metroid. So that alone puts it up on the list. It's not day one because one, it's on Switch, and unfortunately, it's just not my major console. And
Mhm.
two, again,
Why you gotta
question
hate
mark.
against the Switch?
I'm
No,
not hating
sir.
on Switch. I'm just
This
being
is
honest. I'm being honest.
this is Metroid. This is more Metroid. This is Nintendo also, which I mean they have had their stinkers. Don't get me wrong. Metroid Other M says
Mhm.
hello.
Yep, it sure does.
I I have high hopes on this one. This one is
Me
day
too.
one.
Yeah.
It might not be a little day one in the sense of I'm gonna buy the day that it comes out, but I will have money already separated
Set
for
aside.
it. Yes.
Nice, nice. Okay, fair enough. Fair
So
enough. I
more
like
like a metaphorical day one. Day
it.
one in my heart.
Nice, nice. All right. So next one is October 12th. Back for Blood coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4,
Mm.
Xbox One. I know what this is a spiritual successor to. Never played it.
Mhm.
So for me, really, this is a curious, but maybe later. And it has nothing to do with it. Just wanted zombies, and I'm a little bit just worn out of zombies. So, where are you at with this one?
Unless I hear raving things about it, which it looks like it just might have because people like Left 4 Dead. But I will have to hear more than just raving review. I will have to hear like
Exemplar.
you and Chaos and Dark saying, "Let's go get this game and let's play this game." And then I'll be like, "Okay, I'm all upon because I think that experience will be amazing.
Phenomenal. Yeah, I would
It'll
agree
be
with that.
yeah,
Yeah, I can
yeah.
definitely agree with that.
As
I can
of as
definitely
a seven,
say that. I mean, if I see whatever, and I don't know, I mean, I assume this is a regular price one, that's $60 to $70, but
probably.
if it's a little bit lower, so maybe a day one sale. Who knows? Yeah.
I mean, it is fucking. It is. This is exactly Left 4 Dead, and those games were great. So yeah, this was probably gonna be a wait. Wait and see. I'll give it a wait and see. Yeah.
Okay. Next one is literally 10 days later, October 22nd, Battlefield 2042 coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox One X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. This is unfortunately a multiplayer only game, so I can tell you right now that this is not a chance in hell. And it's not because of anything wrong with it. It's just clearly not meant for me.
I hate the fact that it's a multiplayer only game. I am a fan of Battlefield, however, of this actually the modern day Battlefield more than anything, and I want to see this game how this game runs on PC. So this is gonna be a day one for me on PC.
Ooh, look at you. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll have.
We're on two ends of the spectrum on this one. But yeah, okay. Interesting. Day one purchase. Okay. Next one is a few days later, October 26th. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox One X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. Dear Lord, I don't know how that's going to run, but I'm going to go with.
That's going to be streamed. They already said it's going to be.
Did they? Oh, well, no wonder. Yeah. Okay. Have some good internet, guys. I'm going to go with. This is a curious, but maybe later. And the reason for that is this is already a heavy month. Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy is completely new. If I decide to go Far Cry 5, I'm pretty sure Far Cry 5 is going to be already a big game. Probably already pulling some games over from September. So not that it's, it's definitely a wait and see in the sense that, well, I'm going to need some reviews. But even if the reviews are good, it's still going to be probably a maybe later. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'd rather drop it in the curious, but maybe later pile. Where you at?
I'm gonna say I'll be a little bit more positive on it. I'm gonna say wait and see.
Okay.
I'm gonna say wait and see because I like what I saw from the preview event. But I need to see reviews on it before I give it my full approval.
Your full. Yeah, full support. I got you. Next one here is in October, but there's no specific date, guys. This is another Bethesda joint, Ghostwire Tokyo, coming to PC and PlayStation 5. No date. It just says October, so it may not even be in October. This is almost not a chance in hell. Based on the last time I saw some gameplay, I was like, ooh, this is nowhere near what I thought it was going to be. But it is still, Tokyo Gameworks or whatever the case may be. What is it? I forgot the name of the company, but
the company.
No,
it's not a chance in hell that I'm gonna remember.
Yeah, I agree. So I'm gonna lean on curious, but maybe later. But it is probably not a chance in hell.
I'm on the same boat, sir.
Okay, fair enough. I figured that because it's just like it's so iffy. But all right, so we're dropping into November and we're slim picking so far. There is a major one. Forza Horizon 5, PC, Xbox One X, Xbox One, coming November 9th. This is an obvious not a chance in hell for me because I'm not a racer in game anyway. I don't own Xbox anything.
Another opposite spectrum. Because this is, I'm gonna triple dip on this one.
Damn.
I'm gonna get the whatever the ultimate edition is. I mean, no doubt, it's
yeah. I get that because I know you're a super fan.
I love
of the series. Yeah,
Forza Horizon with passion. I love.
Nice. This I'm just mentioning because this happens to be here. GTA 5 coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox One X, GTA Online, all November 11th. That's not a chance.
You finally get to play the
Not
first
a chance in hell with
that-
me.
you finally get to play the single player the
Nope.
way it was meant to be played.
Not a chance in hell. with me.
That game is amazing. You're literally throwing away.
I
a
tried
chance to
playing
play.
it. It wasn't like I wasn't
That
trying.
was not a real. That was not.
Oh,
your
so that was
college
a
try,
fake
sir.
try, is what you're
Yes,
saying. Even though I
yes,
gave it a
no.
good few hours before I was like,
No,
okay, this is
that was-
not.
Because I know it wasn't because there's no way in hell that game will not grab you. The
But it
story
did.
on that game
It did
is
it.
one of the best gangsters. No, dude, it might as well be a movie.
It did.
could
You
easily
figured
be.
it would be, but it did not. And I gave it the
God.
old college try.
I
The only one I
don't-
never got to was Trevor, but I played the first two because it's. I played the first two. It never actually switched. Wait, did it switch?
You didn't
That
like
was-
Michael? Michael was
the-
great.
I didn't. It didn't grab me, bro. It just didn't grab me. It was too sandboxy.
Give me your gaming credit.
Actually,
You
at some
start
point,
to be demoted.
I think at some point I
gaming.
was in a game, in a car, having to shoot something. You know, like having to shoot some people who were shooting at us, and the aim was all wonky, and it was just like, what in
It's
the world is
better
happening?
than frigging. It didn't have Deadeye. That's probably why. But
Maybe
it
it
is the
didn't have
same
that,
as
but
that stupid
it was
cowboy game.
wonky, and and then here's the deal: your car blows up, you have to start all over the entire. And this happened like 2 or 3 times, and I was like,
How
okay,
do you
I'm done.
blow up a car? You have to be like.
I didn't blow up a car; they
dude.
blew up my car.
Ow!
yeah.
You weren't. See, that's how I know you weren't playing with passion because there's.
You know what? It could be, but at some point, after a few hours, you're giving a little something. It may not be a college try, but it's at least the elementary, level.
You're
hopeful.
giving it a C level try at best, but that's
Okay.
fine.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I'm not gonna play the single player again, even though it well deserves to. But that game's long.
All right, well,
Great story. But I would have played it on everything at that point. I would have bought it on every generation, 360, PlayStation, and buying it again. No man.
This leads. There's not much obviously in December, but this does lead us to January. Only one solidified game in January. I'm not going to go any further past this, but and that of course is January 21st, 2022. Game from Software, published by Bandai Namco, and that of course is Elden Ring, coming to PC, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. Sir, unless all hell falls apart, this is a day one.
I'm gonna concur with you. This is also a big one. If there's no way From can fuck this up.
I mean, they can, because they have known to have some really bad frame rate shit on their games, but they do eventually fix it.
True.
No, that
but,
said,
I mean, not in this generation. They can't afford. If this,
I agree.
No.
I agree. 100%. I'm not even going to disagree with that. I agree. If they fuck it up when they release it, then they're just as bad as fucking Cyberpunk and everything else. Like, no,
Yes.
get your shit together. And reality is they've been working on this for some time. Really think about when Dark Souls 3 is the last what was it? Sekiro was the last game they did. Which that was the 2018 game of the 2019 game of the year. That's 2 years from now. 2 years ago. So they've been working on this for some time, and apparently they've been working on it for even longer than that. So, yeah, get this shit together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Together.
But that said, yeah, I am enthralled with From Software. I am shocked. And and you know what? The reality is I would have been this way much earlier if it wasn't for the shitty version PlayStation 3 of Dark Souls, the first one.
Yeah.
Because I played that. I was all into it.
Yes,
and
you
then
were,
and
Dark
it's just
Souls.
all fucking shat the bed at some point. And I also played Bloodborne, and I got it I guess I got it for free or really dirt cheap. Like, it was a really dirt cheap thing, and I was like, man, this is really good, but I couldn't get into it at that point because I was wanting to play something else. But I do want to go back to Bloodborne because I recognize these as being
Fucking just remake Bloodborne. You know what? Blue Point. Get on
But
that
dude, that's a
shit
PlayStation
right
4
now.
game. Why are we remaking a PlayStation 4 game? Really? I don't think we need to do that. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
but
that
you
was
know they're gonna. That's the thing. You know they're gonna.
Sure, for PlayStation 8. Okay, that makes sense.
No,
but
they're
not
gonna do it for
PlayStation
this one.
5.
So Ryan already said so. I mean,
Fucking
he didn't
Jim.
say Bloodborne, but he said remakes are coming.
He did say that. He did say, but that's good though. I mean,
Yeah.
I look at the
You
staple
want
of
to play a
games,
60,
that
60
these
frames
guys
per second
have.
of that.
Yeah, but we don't need. I mean, From can do that. You know what I'm saying? Well, although I guess From could be doing something else. They don't have to fucking do
Yes,
this. Yeah.
Elder Ring. Thank you very much.
Oh, fucking hell. I guess so. I mean, you know what? If I get a 60 frame Bloodborne, then I guess, sure, that works. I'll stop complaining. So yeah. So, well, thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. That is our, well, how we feel, our temperature check for the rest of the games that are coming out for the rest of 2021.
You let
Thanks
us
so much.
know now which ones you like and which ones are gonna be not chancing hell.
Yeah. Those are the ones I'm really curious about. I'm curious to see how many people give like, I don't know.
You better not say Forza.
Well, I mean, I could say not a chance in hell, but it's only because I don't like racers. You know what I mean? So I mean, it is what it is. But I'm curious to see how many people like look at Far Cry 6 and go, not a chance in hell. Like, whoa, why? I'm curious. Give me why.
Yeah,
that would be pretty interesting. So yeah, man, if you're listening to this, leave us in the comments. Don't just tell us why. Leave the why as to why you feel whatever major title is not your thing. But thanks so much for tuning in. As always, guys, please go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. And please like, subscribe, share the podcast with everyone. This is Mad Dog signing off for this week, saying I hope everyone has a awesome July 4th. Happy birthday, America, is really what I can say for this weekend. And let's make America better. Not that way, but the right way. Let's do this right. Mr. Mad Dog, you hear me? It's like I'm talking to myself. Mr. Drink
Mr. Second.
Take us home.
Happy birthday, America. There's nothing more American than a GTA. GTA was made in America, and not wanting to play GTA single player story, it's an affront to America. So you heard it here first. Mad Dog hates America. This is David Santos for Fox News.
Oh, you heard it here first, guys. I am un-American. Well, anyway, I guess we'll see you guys next week. GG! Oh my God. Un-American.